Ladies and gentlemen,
We are back.
we're back.
And we're live.
God damn it.
Feels good to be back, man. Feels good to be back. Had another one-off, but that turned into a 2-week gap because of the one-off. Once again, no one's fault.
Did it?
Yeah. Turns into 2 weeks because we're off.
We haven't been
week.
live in 2 weeks?
We were off last week, and, it's been a whole week.
Oh.
So, essentially 2 weeks.
When you put it that way.
A week, 6 day, and a 23-hour vacation, as Tony Reale would put it, wrapping up.
Tony Reale.
Tony Reale would put it, wrapping up PTI.
That's the guy.
No, around the horn. Yeah, he would he would wrap it up like that. We're on a 23-and-a-half-hour vacation. See you tomorrow.
I miss Kellerman on that show.
Kellerman's good in his spot. He's in now though. Kellerman's good where he's at now, man.
He worked his way up fast. Because he's doing Showtime now, right?
I mean, he does Showtime. He's still on ESPN. He does one of the morning shows. I think First Take at one of those. He does First Take and something else. I can't remember which one. He does First Take and one of the other ones. I can't remember which one it is.
Kellerman.
And he that's what he does now.
So there's a few things I want to talk about.
There's a few things we have to talk about, man.
The first thing that I want to talk about is coffee. For some reason, I have my tradition. Every day I go, especially when I'm coming here, I get my small little Starbucks cup that you always see. I can't even say they misprinted because it was printed, but they printed it so small that it said black coffee. It's like no sugar, no cream, no nothing. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life. You ever drank black coffee?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you no, but you already know I don't drink much coffee to begin with. So
It's like, I don't know.
the only time I drink coffee is here, and it's never been black coffee.
So you've never had?
No.
It is probably one of the most grotesque tastes.
Honestly, one of the worst things to me, I hate people with coffee breath, man. Like when the smell of coffee's on people's breath, I hate that fucking smell. Even more so if you smoke cigarettes with it. If you have coffee and cigarette breath,
Yeah.
I get on you about that shit a lot, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, away from me for a second. Let that shit air away. Like, after I smoke, I can't be near my girlfriend because my breath smells like weed,
But weed breath is a little different.
Yeah.
Cigarette breath mixed with the coffee, that shit is rank.
That's probably worse than morning breath.
And even more so when you got to wear a fucking mask. Because, the first thing I do when I wake up is I make myself and my girl some coffee. Then I go outside, smoke my cigarette. But to come back in the building, I always put the mask on. And that shit was so offensive one day. I actually got mad at the building. I thought something happened in the building. It was just like...
Nah, man. I don't...
Nah,
man. It's like I said, I really only do coffee when I'm here. When I'm here is the only time I really drink coffee.
It actually, the shit that I just drank made me appreciate the coffee that we get here so much
But
more.
I've said that before. A lot of people consider like Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, like got Burger King, McDonald's with the
I don't
McCafe.
like those coffees either.
They consider that to be like really shitty coffee. Like real coffee connoisseurs consider that. Like people who really, and
It's not made with care.
even at home that have a French press and don't want to go somewhere because they know how to make coffee, so they get their own ways, or they have their own little drip machines at home, and they know the beans they like. Maybe they roast them. They know the grounds they like, and they consider that type of coffee to be, shit.
And what's funny is that I've had like 3 different coffee machines in the crib, all electronic. They all broke down. The only thing that I have now is the thing that Danny gave me, the AeroPress. That shit that they was having here, I think they have them right over there, inside the white box under the drum. And that is, it's real primitive, but it actually makes the best coffee.
I know. A lot
It
of
just
people
takes a
still
lot of
have
coffee to make it though.
I know a lot of people that still use percolators on the stove, man.
My mom.
Like people they swear like, yo, that's how I made my coffee. I don't need
You talking
that.
about the silver thing?
You put it on the stove, or even that you could plug in. I know people that have ones you can plug in.
Oh shit!
A lot of people that'll still use those as opposed to some of the newer things because they still prefer it that way. Or even people that'll get like maybe like the old school like office coffee pots, but a smaller version for home. Because they don't
Even
have
the
that
ones
whole...
with the small cups. You ever seen the ones with the small
Keurigs?
cups? Yeah, that you just put them inside.
Those are supposedly like, while they're quicker and easier for you, those are supposedly not that great because of what builds up inside of it.
Yeah.
You can't clean that. Like
That's
you
the
can't
shit that
open
just
it up
broke
and
down.
clean it. Yeah.
And when we went to throw it out, we shook it up a little bit, and mad junk started coming out. So it's like, how much of this shit? It's like those fucking machines at Burger King and shit. You got if you put a napkin in there and start twisting the nozzle, you're gonna get all that gunk and
I would
filth
think
and
that those
bullshit.
machines are probably more cleanable because you have to, like, by the health department. I'm not gonna say they do it every day, but when you know there's gonna be a health inspection, like you have to make sure, like coffee, all that shit in the back house, you have to make sure that shit's clean in the right way.
My mom does coffee crazy. What she does, she puts that thing, that silver thing, she heats up the coffee, but then she has a pot with boiling milk. And then she takes the boiling hot fucking coffee, pours it in the boiling milk, and then she serves it to Jose and he just I'm like, bro, why you think your whole throat is calloused? It's like you burn your mustache
Man,
off, bro.
I can't
Like,
now, man.
holy
I
shit.
just, I'm not. You know what? Even though I wasn't even much of a tea drinker ever, really, man. Like
I never got into tea.
I just, it's crazy. I really started doing caffeine. Not even a lot, but the Mountain Dew. What are they called? The Mountain Dew kicks.
Kicks.
Yeah, they have a little bit of extra caffeine in them.
It's soda or it's
It's like it's made by Mountain Dew, but it's like it's not all the way an energy drink, but it's like, or is it called Game Fuel or Morning Kick? So one of those two. They have like two separate ones. The Game Fuel's more caffeine. I do the
like
one
their
with less
version of
caffeine.
Monster.
Yeah, kinda, but it's not as terrible, not as sugary. Still sugary, but not as sugary.
You drink Red Bull?
No, I can't. That's too much. I had, it's funny. I'll tell you a story about me and caffeine from work. Last year. It's funny. It was a little bit. It was around. Where was I? Had I finished? It was a little bit after. It was a little bit after my birthday, before COVID shut everything down.
Mm.
When my regular house was closed down, where I worked at. So I was floating around. I was working with my homie. I was on a different house, and I had came in early that day, and they had moved our shifts up because we had to start doing the metal detectors. So we were all in a little bit earlier, and it was earlier than I was used to then. It was also a 2-show day. It was my first one with the new schedule adjustment like that and shit. So
So they call theaters houses?
yeah.
Some
And
behind the scenes lingo.
and we were there, and I'm like, damn, man. I'm yawning, and we about to do the second show. And I, was sitting there a little out of it, and my boy's like, "Yo, you wanna bang?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't really do caffeine at all." And everybody's like, "Maybe you should do half a bang, then not if you don't drink caffeine." They're like, "You don't drink coffee, nothing, no." I was like,
Bang
"The
is the name of the drink?
Bang Energy is supposed to be like less sugar, like it has like sugar, but a little bit cleaner and stuff, and like people like it, people swear by it." Um, and it is not terrible. And then they have the like zero sugar ones and all that other shit. But they was like, man, and I'm like, man, but I do need the kick right now. So I was up a little late last night, and I was like, man, I try it. And my boy, I thought he was gonna give me some of his. He was like, nah, I'm gonna go upstairs and get you one from the locker. I didn't know he even kept like some in the lockers
He
upstairs.
got
So
a
he brought me
bang
one
farm.
down, and we were sitting there waiting, for the walk in to start. I down it. Bro, like 20 minutes later, I shit you not, bro, I was literally bouncing off the walls. And
Yo, look at
everybody
that
saw
shot.
me like, yo, it's kicked in.
It's a
Like,
nice
he's
wide
really
shot.
like, yo, I was like a little kid on a sugar rush. Like, I was like a little kid in the middle of a sugar rush, bro.
You don't watch Seinfeld,
But,
not
like,
as much.
here's the crazy part. And the only
There's an
thing that
episode
worked good
about
for me
that.
that night was that I had to, I didn't have to come in early the next day. I didn't have to be until like 5. Yo, I got home. I drank that at like maybe, I'll say 4:30, 5 o'clock. I didn't go to bed till like 6
You
a.m.
fucked up.
And I woke up at like 11 a.m. still like refreshed. Like, let's do it.
That just goes to show you the amount of chemicals in that shit.
Nah, like I don't do caffeine, bro. Like I tell people, like even I told you here when we first started the run, when I would when the first day we
We
did it
started
here,
drinking coffee
when
all
I
the
had
time
that
in this
first
place.
cup and I went home to try to take the nap that I would take before work and I couldn't sleep. And then I also got to work. I didn't get tired, got home and I was up till like 4 in the morning. Came in, did it the next morning, had a cup of coffee, couldn't take a nap, and it took me a while to realize that's caffeine.
Shit.
Like
Yo, so there was this app that I wanted to talk about just to get your opinion on it. I actually saw the advertisement for this app right when I woke up this morning. So I downloaded it. It's called Replica. It's an artificial intelligent friend.
no.
Bro,
Just
I-
you said when you said replica, I'm like, what are you stealing people's pictures? What we gonna be like? I'm deep faking,
Nah,
like just
bro.
here, like
you create the avatar that represents your friend, and then you start having conversations with it. And I started having a conversation, and it gives you like these little prompts that say we don't share your information, which is bullshit. You know how that shit goes. But I'm having a conversation, and this fucking AI character is like talking to me like a fucking person, and I'm just like, yo, how separate are they making people now? Like, how much further can we isolate each other to the point
No,
where we have best friends
if
that are
you
robots?
if you allow that, if you it's for you to allow that, you have to download it, you have to the B set it up, you have to use it and engage it, and that's all these things. There's a thing, and like I told you, I've been watching. I started watching the show on Adult Swim. I'm almost done with it. There's only like 3-4 episodes left. And there's only 3 seasons up right now. Black Jesus, and one of the things he says,
I've heard of it, but I ain't see it yet.
yo, it's a funny show, bro. Like, and it's like, yo, it's funny because it's like, everything. Black people obviously always say Jesus is black, not white. So there's that whole thing going. And then it's like he tells people, I'm like the son of you motherfucker. Like he curses, he acts like regular people, but he actually walks around like in the cream like robe, like with the silk shawl, black dude, long hair.
What
Like,
network
it's
is
crazy.
this?
Huh?
What network?
Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's the dude who made the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder. Like it's a good show, man. It's crazy because I told you when I was watching it was the realization is, yo, I didn't watch it when it came on, but the first 2 seasons, Charlie Murphy and John Witherspoon are in it, and obviously they're both deceased now. And
John Witherspoon?
yeah, John Witherspoon died last year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pops.
All right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Charlie Murphy had cancer. He died a few years before. But like seeing them on screen together, and Charlie Murphy was always like it took him a
We
while
put
to
up the
get
rest
there.
in peace when he died.
Yeah, it took him a while to get there, but he was always like a comedy powerhouse. And John Witherspoon, his career spanned decades, man. His career spanned almost twice as long as we've been alive,
He was at the roast of Richard Pryor.
bro.
It's like
Just think about that. Just
it's
think
like
about that. Like
these
that's how
people
long
got
he's been around,
years,
bro.
decades in
And
the business.
we saw him as just think about our parents saw him. We saw him as kids. Our little cousins saw him on other stuff he's done. Heard his voice on other stuff.
I mean, we knew him from the
Wayans brothers, the
from
Boondocks, Friday, all this other stuff. But every time people always referred to him as Pops. You know what I'm saying?
He always played that role.
Like that older.
He was like typecasted into the perfect role for him, though.
But I don't know if you could call it typecasting or just him going on camera and that's his personality.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
More
like,
so than anything, because you listen to how even I'm about to say Will Smith. You probably run down on me fucking that up. The way Ice Cube talked about him like on Friday on the sets on Friday, how people talked about him on the other sets on like the Wayans talked about him on set on the Wayans brothers, and just seeing like
man.
getting.
What
to
did he
see
die
him,
of? You remember?
I believe it was cancer. If I'm not, I know
Cancer shit
Charlie
is
Murphy was
crazy,
cancer.
bro.
If I'm not mistaken, John Witherspoon may have been old age. Let's double check, because he was older, or it might have been he had like a heart attack or a stroke, and you know how that eventually goes.
What do you think about Paul Mooney?
What about him?
Do you find him funny?
Yes, I do find Paul Mooney funny. I am a Paul Mooney fan. I consider Paul Mooney funny.
To me, every time I ask people about Paul
He
Mooney,
died of
it's
a heart attack. John Witherspoon.
Jesus Christ, bro.
You know what it is
Damn,
with
I didn't
Paul
know that.
Mooney? You either get his comedy or you don't. And if you don't get his comedy, you don't find it funny. Or if you do get it, and it's not really too funny.
Or if you're sensitive about race
Yeah.
issues.
You're sensitive about race issue, LGBTQ issues, any of that. It's like how people now are like, it's like people, Chappelle's not funny anymore because he won't let up on the LGBTQ community. And it's like,
That's bullshit.
granted, Chappelle's never let up on anyone. That'd be like South Park's never let up on religion. No
Facts.
shit, Sherlock. That's what they do.
That's what got them there. It's that controversial
And,
shit.
and it's even, he's acknowledged it. Like, he's acknowledged it. And but for one people to change, because you call him a bigot, say maybe he's a bit of a homophobe, any of that, transphobic. I don't know. I'm not going there with all of that. But the people dissecting it, and you know what it was? It really was that Sticks and Stones joke. about everybody in the car. It was really the Sticks and Stones joke about everybody in the car.
He said the bees are in the back saying, "I'll fuck anybody in this car."
And everybody looking at the keys.
Everybody's looking at this one with disgust.
Oh man, it's
It's
just
like-
he you know it's he's him. He's him. He knows his people are gonna like that joke. If you don't like him, cool. You
Brenna's-
not liking his comedy is not gonna hurt him.
Brenna just showed me this. I don't know if it's new. I think it is because Kevin Hart did a stand-up special in his house. You didn't see
In
it?
whose house?
In his own house.
I didn't know that.
And it starts like the shit is crazy because he starts upstairs in the bedroom with his wife and kids, and everybody's just like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go downstairs to work, and he's walking through the house. Then he just goes into the room, and there's a fucking audience there. It's just like, yo, what kind of money does this man have that he has a fucking little stadium in his crib?
Not a little stadium, bro. It's probably digital.
It was a big ass room, bro.
It's probably digitally recreated. Right
Nah,
now
bro.
on the Masked Singer, they are completely digitally recreating
Nah,
the
bro.
crowd. Yo, bro, if you
That
watch the
shit was
Masked
real.
Singer this season, they are digitally recreating the crowd, and it looks real as shit. And until you see the smaller, like you're thinking, yo, how's California or any state right now, unless you're in Texas or Florida, doing this? You know they're not gonna move their entire production to either of those places. So it's like how we're doing this, and when you see it at the end, it's like the it's studio audience, and they're using archived, something recovered footage, and they're digitally altering it. So I mean, if he did have a crowd in his house, hopefully he observed, the proper precautions for it. But if not, I would think maybe that was digitally, put their crowd. Because you're on the Masked
I just, not to cut you off, but I typed in Kevin Hart special and it didn't get good reviews. I didn't really listen to it because it was just a lot of the same shit. That's what I hate about Kevin Hart.
It's right now. I haven't watched like his last three. I should have watched the one after the cheating scandal. And you know what it is, and we know this. A lot of stand-up comedians, once you hit big in Hollywood, you make that Hollywood money, and I mean movie money.
Yeah.
Your stand-up's not quite the same.
That's why Eddie Murphy never wanted to go back.
to stand up.
Everybody was like, yo, you got to do another one. You got to do another one. He's like,
I
I
think
wouldn't even be as funny if I tried.
This Eddie Murphy now, people want to hear from because everything that's happened over the years that he's never really addressed. But I mean, look at when he did Saturday Night Live last year.
Yeah.
Like he really went out there. He talked about the Baby Spice thing. I don't think he addressed the thing we got arrested with the transgender before Metro came out. He made a lot of jokes, and he made a lot of jokes about himself on top of that. And I mean,
What do you think about Chappelle's opening at SNL?
I didn't, honestly, I didn't even see it yet. I saw like a small snippet of it. I keep saying I'm gonna watch it, and then I do something else. Like I have Hulu. I keep saying, yo, I need to watch that, and then I watch something else. You know what is funny though? I was so hyped about Netflix getting Chappelle Show back, and I totally forgot about it.
I've been watching.
And then my girl was like, yo,
been
what can we
watching.
watch? And I was like, we watch Chappelle Show? I was like, I haven't seen it in
Yeah.
years, yo. We watched
Completely
the first two
uncensored.
episodes, bro. I do not remember laughing that hard at Chappelle Show. And it's just proof
Because
that
we're older now and we get it a lot more.
Nah, it's not even that we get it a lot more. It's we haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, but to watch the black white supremacists in 2020.
And you know what it is? You
It's
know
like-
that was hilarious. But you know what the funny thing
Yeah.
was? Here's the thing. We've seen it so long ago. But these are things we remember. We used to quote word for word to
Yeah.
each other. We still do sometimes. And to see it like just think about Woogie Boogie, nigga. How often do I say that? How often do I say Woogie Boogie? How often do I say
Yeah.
Woogie Boogie? Anybody will tell you that's one of
And
those.
what's funny, watching that particular episode back, you remember the guy whose head explodes when
Yeah.
he takes it? That's Neil Brennan. That's his writing partner. So I'm just like, holy shit. Now you go back and you know, kayfabe is broken. So we know all the behind the scenes shit. We get to kind of dissect it a little bit
It
more.
was
but-
just like seeing it, but I only
That
watched
shit
the
was
first. We
awesome.
watched the first two episodes last week, man. I was just like,
and
man.
the reason we started watching it because Brenna says she never watched it. She said all,
Yeah, my
all her
girl-
time
my
in
girl
high
said
school,
she never watched it either.
She's never seen the Chappelle Show. So we started from the beginning, and that shit.
I was like, yo, we got to watch this. Like, I'm waiting for Mad Real
The draft.
World. Like, I haven't gotten those yet, but just remember these episodes so much. Like, damn,
Yeah.
son. And even the musical performances. Like, I can't wait to the episode with Mos Def and Kanye West.
I just saw the Mos Def one when he's driving in the car.
I can't wait to get to that, man. And the Common and Kanye West episode, man.
That's why watching this show back makes me despise Key and Peele even more because When Chappelle went on, he was doing stand up, and he pretty much said he turned on Comedy Central and watched these two clowns
I
doing his
watched
show.
these two niggas do my show for the last 5 years.
They're not even funny though.
They weren't funny.
I
You
can't
know
stand
you know
them,
what's
bro.
crazy though? Jordan Peele's a phenomenal screenwriter. And the other dude, Michael Keegan, he's not that bad of an actor as a comedy actor. That show just wasn't that funny to me. They had a couple of sketches that were kind of funny and I say, bitch, you said bitch. And then they look around like,
Yeah, but
and they keep moving further and further away and saying,
compared to the classics that Chappelle
yeah,
produced
nah.
in that short
They only
amount of
had a
time.
couple of sketches that were actually funny. Like the one that still floats around with him saying the kids' names wrong. Jay Quaylen. Jacqueline.
With the Peele is it's Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele and Michael Keegan something. It's Michael something Keegan, but it's Michael him Key.
The tall one, the bald one.
Tall bald one.
He's always playing the Oreo. And everything that he does, like that's his role.
I mean,
And he plays that shit like Braxton from fucking.
but look at how far
Jamie
that
Foxx
got
show.
both of them. I mean, it got Braxton kind of far, man. You don't want to get typecast. I think they'd be offended to say that if people say that or anyone say that about them. But I honestly think that they have the talent and the ability to do that. And
No, we still good.
And,
Making sure we was about to get clipped.
and it's crazy. But even like the thing when you look at like Jordan Peele's movies, man, like the stuff he's helped produce.
His movies have set him apart from everything else.
And that that shows his brain, man. But even seeing who he was married to was I can never get her name right, but she was a comedian. She on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
You know I hate that show.
But the secretary, receptionist, the out of the world one, she's on
She's married to him?
Yeah.
In real life?
I think Chelsea Peretti, I think her name is. And the thing, like you hate that show, man. But that show's so.
I just don't like outside of Lonely Island. I'm not a
Andy Samberg fan.
I was about to say Adam Sandler.
You know what's crazy? What was I watching the other day, man? It was on like Grown Ups 2, and I'm like, holy, that's Andy Samberg, and that's the other dude from the Lonely Island. I was like, holy shit, that's like they were just like, and I think it was Grown Ups 2, like they were some of the frat kids, like they were leading the frat kids with Taylor Lautner. I was just dying laughing. I'm like, you don't realize that, but I mean, I consider Andy Samberg funny. You don't, but I like his style of comedy sometimes. You know what it is though? He also there's people who know what works for them and don't try to mess with the formula. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that style of comedy works. Like you have Andre Brower in there who is a phenomenal actor in anything he does. But the way he deadpans his humor, like all his humor is deadpan. No breaking, no smiling.
What do you think
laughing.
of Terry Crews' performance in that show?
Terry Crews, it is the one reason I do still fuck with Terry Crews is because of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The one reason I still with Terry Crews right now is because of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's his last saving grace.
It's like, Terry. And you know what's crazy? They said they tore up this entire season. They had the season ready to go. They want to shoot, be ready to come back. And
It's what they ripped the script?
they tore all the season up, rewrote it. They said everything that happened in the U.S. over the course of, from Memorial Day till, whenever you want to say it stopped. And then we had like 60 straight days of protest.
So they're
and rioting.
basically redoing everything.
So and then
to fit with the times.
They fit with the times. Encompass that somehow. Andy Samberg said it. Terry Crews said it. A lot of people working on the show said it. And it's just obviously like what's going on in the world. You know what's gonna happen on the show. It's just a matter of how, and how they're gonna make it serious but still keep it funny. And they've managed to do that already a couple times. They handled the mass shooting shit pretty well. They handled being black, dealing with white officers pretty well. They've handled serious topics pretty well.
There's a lot of shows that have tried to handle those topics and they just didn't age well. It's like half of the shit on Seinfeld could not pop off today, bro.
Half shit on the
You
half of the stuff
could not
that
get
was
away
on
with that
TV in the 90s couldn't get away on TV today. Society too sensitive. Way
It's
too
like-
sensitive.
it's crazy
back
right
then,
now.
and also back then, society was a bit insensitive to racial stereotypes.
But there's this one particular episode of Seinfeld called the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And the last line in the episode, they basically tearing the car apart. I think it was Jerry's car or some shit. And they tearing the car apart in the middle of the parade. And Jerry, Kramer, and George is by the window just looking at it. And Kramer goes, "I heard it's like this every day in Puerto Rico." Bro, Puerto Ricans boycotted this show for years, bro. I used to take shit from everybody for watching this show. And the first thing they would say is, he hates Puerto Ricans. He hates Puerto Ricans. I'm like, come on, it was a fucking joke.
It was a joke. It's like how many black
a
jokes have people watched on TV over the years? How many, people had to see Jewish jokes, Asian jokes, gay jokes, and it's like
It's like Carlos Mencia was spewing nothing but Mexican jokes, and he's not even Mexican.
it's crazy.
His real name is Ned Holness. It's like German.
That's even worse. I
You
didn't know
didn't- you
that.
knew- you
No,
knew?
I didn't know that.
That shit.
It's crazy.
He created a fake character called Carlos Mencia. Hey, he did all of that shit.
I mean, but it was funny when South Park dealt with it. I'm not even funny, man. Just get it, man. Just fucking get it, man. I'm not even funny, man. My dick doesn't even work, man. Just fucking get it, man.
George Lopez smacked him in the face. You heard about that?
I heard about that.
He said he counted 17 minutes of his own material in Carlos Mencia's special. Imagine watching a special on HBO and you just see your own jokes.
Here's the thing. If you know it's your joke, cool, but like it kind of annoys me. And I mean, like when people feel like someone stole something, it's like, how do you know you guys just didn't happen? Then the very rare chance, think of something similar. And you see it, I don't want to say from lesser people thinking someone bigger stole from them. Like when bigger comics say, yo, this person stole my act, I can see, or like someone can say, yo, I did that joke first and have the proof, you'll see it. You can see it. But there are a lot of people who say that. It's like, but did they really? And you know what I mean by that.
There's parallel thoughts where you just have the same kind of concept, but then there's plagiarism. And Carlos Mencia, I was on the fence about it until I saw the Bill Cosby tape. When Bill Cosby did this joke, and it was a long joke, like he built the joke up, probably like 5 minutes, hit them with the punchline. The exact same build up, the exact same punchline, everything, bro. And it was like from the old Cosby archive, so it's not even something like on Netflix that's still circulating. Like if you didn't have the video, you'll never know.
I mean, but it's like that. When it like we said this before, when it comes to if you steal someone's jokes, you're the worst. To me, you know me. I don't like recycling material unless I know it's gonna kill. Every time I'm going out, it's been an open mic. I've only actually taken stage as a booked act maybe once or twice. So
You got booked?
you booked me.
Oh,
About
to say. I was like, you taking shows?
Augie Lutz booked me that time.
yeah. Shout out to Augie, man.
The other one, Pine Box booked me once. Your man, Joe Coe.
Joe Cole.
And
I wonder how stand-up's going for him. Don't got them same stages no more.
I don't know. I wonder how stand-up's going for any of them, man. I mean, what's crazy though? Like I said, man, that time Sos did it, man. Those kids killed. Like it's crazy. I need to stop saying it. Just come 33. It doesn't mean like they were younger. They all said they were like 22, 23. One of them was like 20. I think the oldest one was like.
I think you got the grace to support it, bro.
But it feels, what it feels like though
Like
when
John
I say,
Witherspoon.
I feel like I'm talking down to someone saying that, like these kids, yo kids, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm, or being like
It could
condescending.
be a term of endearment.
It is, but I don't want anyone
That's what
to
it
feel
was
like
meant to
I'm
be.
talking down on them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to correct myself when I say that, or I catch myself saying that.
Before we went live, you said that I have to send you the bars that you recorded the other day in the studio. And you just reminded me about this article I read yesterday on Forbes magazine. And this is one of the most horrendous situations that I've heard about. Taylor Swift's catalog just
Scooter Braun still has it. Is it Scooter Braun?
Scooter Braun
And he sold
got
it.
sold for $300 million. She has zero equity in that.
In her catalog.
So now she's basically saying that she's going to re-record every song that she's ever produced and distribute it independently to try to make some of the money back, bro. Like, this is the problem with the industry.
That's
today.
that was one of the big things she was.
All because
like,
she took
went
that
to court with
advance.
them. She took, like I don't know how that all went, but that was a big thing that happened. She was going to court. She didn't, and I believe the person he sold her masters to was like her old like her old like owner who her old
What,
owner.
right now? Danny, that would be interesting. It's like you just hitting us with this one. But it's one of those situations that it's just like it just goes to show you how corrupt the industry is, and people don't understand that when you take advance money from a label, they're giving you that advance for a reason. They're projecting if they give you $1 million, then they're projecting you're gonna make 100 million. And when you do make 100 million and you get none of it, now you're just gonna be there with your hands in your pockets talking about where's my money. You don't have the road anymore to go make tour money. Like what else is there? Merchandise. You're not even getting the press CD money. So what? You're just gonna push T-shirts and shit.
I mean, when
She
it comes
really
to
has to
someone
go
like
back.
her, she has the star power. I mean, even though she doesn't have a catalog, she may be one of those people that ends up
That's
on
fucked up.
the road for a lot of career. But just think about it like this. Think about it like
But there's no more road.
But think about it like this. The Stones still tour. You have, Queen still tours. You have not
Queen.
the Beatles, Queen, and they have Adam Lambert singing.
Really?
All the backing members of Queen and Adam Lambert
Get
still
the hell out of
singing
here.
lead. Who else still tours? You have the Stones, Queen. You have these groups that still go out on the road, like these old groups, and these are groups that don't need it. It's like, yo, there's these people. Let's say Springsteen, he didn't need that money when he did Broadway. Yo, this dude does a tour. He's doing stadiums. He's not going to like BB King's. He's not going to like Nokia Theater. He's going to the Garden. He's going to MetLife. He's going to Old Giant Stadium. He's going to Yankee Stadium. He's going to Shea Stadium,
And
City
he's
Field,
selling it out.
and he's selling it out. He's selling it out night after night after night. He's in town
By
3-4
himself.
nights, 3-4 nights. The band, E Street Band, when he do that. But
You know what I mean.
you know what? I know what you mean. But let's just give those
His
guys
name is
credit.
on the marquee.
Yeah, but selling it out, and then we gonna do. We're in New York City 3-4 nights. Pack it up. We're going on the road. When Boston 3-4 nights, pack it up. Where we at next week? We're in Connecticut 2 nights.
What a life.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Pack it up when
What a
Detroit,
life.
pack it up when Cleveland, pack it up, you know.
But he doesn't even need to move because he's such a star that people will come to the city just to go to his show.
You know how many people, yo, bro, you know how many people we had come through, like, tell us I literally got off the plane. I mean, people who, just got off the plane because the plane was delayed. I'm talking, we had to go through their unmentionables in their suitcase. Like, and it's like,
Damn,
we
you gotta
feel
go through
bad.
all
Like,
that
you had
shit?
to go through TSA, and it's like, hey, guys, sorry, you got to go through us now. Like, you had to go through TSA to get to the city.
So they showed up with their luggage and all that
Luggage,
shit.
everything, man. And then they had to check it. And then we had to check it. Have the dogs, the bomb dog sniff the luggage and everything. We had to actually search through it, and then, they had to check their bags. Because bags didn't go in the theater. Their bags had to get checked.
Have they ever like released like any sort of BTS video on him leaving his crib, driving from Jersey to the city, showing the process?
I never watched the whole Netflix thing. I think the Netflix thing had some of that kind of spliced in there, if I'm not mistaken. So I heard about,
What a life, bro.
like I said, I never watched the
Just
entire
driving from
thing.
Jersey, sell out a fucking. Because that be considered that's not an arena.
It's a
just
venue.
It's a venue.
It's a.
How many seats?
That theater had 900, if I'm not mistaken, and like 77, 73. Let's see.
So almost 1,000 seats every single night. Well, 5 days a week. He was doing 5 days a week or 7 days.
He was doing 4 days, then 5 days.
Like the
That
man.
theater,
the man is king.
975. Damn, I was off by like 2 seats
975.
in that theater he performed in. And
You
dude,
know how hard it is to get people. Let's just go back for a second. All the bullshit shows that I've ever played, bro. How hard it was to get 10 people paid at the door. He's doing 1,000 people,
bro, I saw people, I saw you. There was one lady
like,
there
oh my
who was,
God.
when you talk about a super fan, at those, you know the prices I told you. They saw
Yeah,
Springsteen.
bro.
Her and her brother saw Springsteen like 66, 67 times. And there were times they were like, sometimes they got lottery tickets. Sometimes they saw people who had extra ticket and they would like buy a ticket face value, maybe pay a little more. People trying to unload it.
Did they ever meet him?
I want to say meet them, but they like stage door. They got shit autographed, got shit signed.
I wonder how celebrities feel about those super fans because it's flattering, but it's kind of intimidating at
It's
the
kind of
same time.
creepy. Some of them, you know, they're not like that. Some of them, if they do get cross lines, there have been lines crossed. I've heard. It didn't happen there. The most was really people maybe pushing to try to get closer to the barricades, and he's like, you know what, just he'd go inside. But nothing too serious. Just like fanning people. He signed some here, signed some there. Eventually they started when he would notice, and his people were noticing like they were actually like autograph hounds. More celebrities are offended by that, like autograph hounds.
Yeah,
People
because
who
they go flip them on eBay.
eBay on other markets. And it got to the point where like people would just be there all day with his original vinyls, like Born in America or the one before that. I mean, Born in the USA or the one before that, Born to Run. Um, and or a book or CD or something they want signed, but it'd be the same people day after day after day after day, and they started noticing that. So they started having us switch up the whole way we would do things. Like, yo, nobody's allowed to stand on this side. We're gonna condense this side. Nobody's allowed to be there until show ends. If they want to wait, they have a setup, block off, and then they have to block off another side. And it's like they want to wait, they have to wait over there until show ends, then they can come here.
What do
'Cause
you
it's like
what do you think is more annoying? You think is the autograph hounds or the people that's putting a camera in your face?
I say maybe the people with the camera in your face.
Because that we know somebody who did that. Remember, fuck with the Chongas.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say his name, but like he was I was on Facebook and he had just put up some. There's a new 6ix9ine
You
documentary.
just said that. I was actually gonna say, did you watch the 6ix9ine documentary?
I didn't watch it,
I
but
watched it.
I
I
saw
watched it.
I saw the clip that he put up, and I was just like, man, he's just really out there just waiting with his camera. Like that is a different life.
That's how to do that. That's how you have to do it, man. And you get those. If you get a good shot, get good video, and it gets licensed.
Because when the shit started popping off, even with Troy Ave, he had to connect with the hip hop cop, some Derek Parker or some shit like that.
that dude's in it. I told
He
you.
would be in the fucking squad
he's
car
in
with
the
him.
6ix9ine shit. Like that's. I mean,
How long is it? It's like 90 minutes regular.
About a little under 2 hours. About an hour 45 minutes. Hour 40 minutes maybe.
But he was like,
But it
in the
shows his,
post, he was like, I made my cameo almost famous.
The 6ix9ine shit shows his came up, how he grew up.
Shows the scandal,
Show-
the sex scandal that he had to deal with when
yeah,
he
it
was
showed
first.
that. I didn't know he went to jail for that. It shows how he was before he like got on and became 6ix9ine. But it's like people like, yo, he's always loud, flashy, wanted to be noticed. He wore shit with like really like I won't say smut worthy, but like to grab your attention.
Yeah.
Shit. It was kind of smut. Like nigga had a jersey
Smutty.
that said smut 69. So he knew what he was doing to cater attention. And then people said as he became this person, it became like blurred between Danny and 6ix9ine. And I mean, like I said though, and like I was talking with Chino.
I don't know if
after.
Danny exists anymore.
I don't know, man. I mean, like you say, he's been radio silent since his album flopped. Could you call it a flop? It just didn't perform to his expectations.
Nah, it's a flop.
It's a hard flop.
It's
You
a
consider
flop.
it a flop.
I consider it a flop because it's hip hop. Hip hop is the one industry, the one segment of the music industry where you're directly compared to people in your vicinity. So if you got 3 artists dropping shit on the same week or whatever it is, and your shit doesn't meet the expectations, especially the expectations that you put out there so heavily on your social media, like if he wasn't out there talking about I'm the king, I'm gonna sell 100 million and this and that, then people wouldn't be putting his releases under a microscope. But it was the fact that he starts clowning all these people about their releases and their music and all that shit that they was ready. They was ready once the numbers came out. It's
I
just
mean,
like,
but
it's a
you
shit
can't
show.
take away what he did. You can't take away the fact that when he did come out, the first one hit, the second one wasn't that far off.
Yeah, but
I think what it is
the
really
music was
is people,
okay.
People got tired of him. People got tired of listening to him. People got tired of hearing the same shit. The same shit online. You get out after everything. You still, the O Block shit again. After everything that's happened, you still doing the same thing, same everything, not making smarter decisions, and it backfired on him. I think wherever he is, he's just biding his time. Eventually, he's gonna come back.
He's gonna come back.
He's gonna still have the rainbow hair.
I don't think his trolling is as effective as it once was. It's almost like Boont Gang coming back now. People already know.
Don't he
Not
have like
impressed.
they say he has like a construction job, Boont Gang. Like he has a
Boont
regular
Gang.
life now.
He went probably like 6 months ago. I saw a video on World Star where he was in the middle of a jungle somewhere, saying that he was leaving the internet. His name is John Gabbana now, and Boont
You
Gang
want-
is dead and all that
You
shit.
you like you doing all that stupidity and like a Boont Gang, whole
He-
lot of gang shit.
He became a slave to the character that he created.
You created that. You. What you say? One time. Something about a circus. You wanna fuck around and be a circus. You wanna be an animal getting whipped. What did you say?
I said
time?
that?
You said something. We were talking about if you want to turn your life into a circus, you're gonna be an animal getting whipped. You said something one time.
Was I high?
I believe so.
It's
I
like-
believe so.
That
It
sounds
was
like
on a
something-
podcast we recorded. If I'm not mistaken, it was on the the Lizzo thing when we did the conversation on Lizzo. And
Oh,
she
yeah, I gotta
wore
go back
assless
and-
chaps.
yeah, I gotta
You
go
said
back and
something
listen
in
to
there
that.
about like if you want to turn your life to a circus, you'll be an animal getting whipped, something along those lines. But essentially that.
That Boont Gang character consumed his life.
Yeah,
He
he do-
left the city. He left everything.
Like you started showing up to showing up to interviews like drugged up on Xans, man, passing
That's
out,
the other
throwing
thing.
up,
is
like
this whole drug culture on social media. There's nothing cool about popping
yeah,
12 pills on fucking camera.
I'm gonna take all these. Look, like you got like 12. I'm gonna take this. I'll take that. I'll take look.
And then the next frame in the video was them passed out with drool running down their face.
It's not like, dude, you're this close to dying right now. That's not like
I don't understand why people do
I don't
that
even
shit.
know, bro. Like I don't. Yo, like the other day, bro. Like, and it was my own fault. I had a big ass edible. I went to the event, and they were selling, like, you know the vendors there. They all make their own shit. They all, everybody is pretty, reputable, knows what they doing. One of them was selling edibles, cereal treats, 3 for $10. Something like
Well, Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles,
Oh,
Apple Jacks, like cereals, like
damn, they got Cocoa
Cinnamon
Pebbles.
Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like I seen a few things. I got one cookie and cream one I ain't eat yet. Look like cookies and cream, Rice Krispies. I ain't eat yet. But I got it, and I got them all. Like I had, and then I came home. I had already burnt before I went there. And I came home and I burned, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing anything tomorrow. Go ahead and eat edible. Man, it's a big edible, bro. Like it was like, you see the bags I have,
Yeah.
like that I keep butting. It came in one of those. Like it was.
So that's just like a brick. That's just probably the size of this.
If you fold
Well,
it,
yeah.
you see that shit. Like, if you fold it, it's like it was like that long. But if you folded it up, it would fold it like that, and it would have been that size. Yeah, 100%. Yo, so I eat this fucker.
How long did it take?
Yo, like 30 minutes before I'm sitting there in my chair playing the game, and I'm just like, yo,
What is
like, I'm like,
happening?
I need a second. I'm like, yo, I gotta watch TV. I was like, I can't even get the input to set this up. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, I have to sit down. And I'm already sitting down. I'm like, I have to sit down and kind of do this.
Yo.
But the shit is, I'm saying, yo, sit down. Yo, dude, you're already sitting down. Like, that was like, and you know what it is? I haven't had an edible, and I had like
That's
edible
a different
gummies,
high, bro.
in a while, and that was a really good edible, bro. And I was like, shit.
I think the worst that I ever got hit with one of those was the iced tea. No, it was a lemonade. It was a big ass pouch of lemonade, and they told me it was like, this is 4 servings. I said,
THC.
I drank the entire thing, bro. I remember I was just sitting down on the couch, and I started feeling like the commercials. Remember the pot commercials with the girls melting on the couch? And I'm like, yo, this is what they were talking about. So I'm looking at Brenna, and she's like laid out on the couch, on the other couch, and she's sleeping. And I just start hearing this voice screaming in my head, bro. So I'm having this internal argument with myself, trying to get up, but I'm stuck to the couch. I was like, yo, I should have just did a half at least.
Yeah, bro.
Not
Like,
the
I
whole
remember,
fucking thing, bro. The whole thing is no good.
I can't even talk
Renders
shit.
you useless.
Because last week, Wednesday, I, on my way upstate, was the gummies. We didn't go in there, and then I was waiting to hear if you wanted to do anything. Could just say, let's see if we can jump on, but I forgot you said you was gonna go set up the booth. So I'm like, all right, yeah, let me just head upstate. But before I started getting ready, I ate half a gummy, and it's like it looks like a Lego block, and it's like the 4 and 4, and it says it's 100 milligrams. So like you break it in half, it's 50, 25, and the 12.5. It says starts with 12.5. I'm like, nigga, I eat edibles, nigga. I started with 50 milligrams, and I'm not even thinking like, all right. So then I'm packing my bag. And I go back, I'm like, yo, I'm just eat a whole one, see how this goes. Yo, I ate the whole one, bro. On the Metro North train, that shit kicked in, and I'm like, why did I eat 150 milligrams?
Why is this train going backwards?
I'm sitting there, when I posted the story of the fog, I'm sitting there looking at the fog on the train rolling up, and that shit was right on the window, on the water. I'm like, yo. And I just feel like, yo, do people on this train realize how fucking high I am right now?
Yep. They saw it in your face.
Yeah.
There's probably footage of you out there.
I have times where like my eyes don't get that red anymore, but they get really glassy. And I'm like, yo, like I look at myself in the mirror.
I just have a stone cold face.
My eyes are barely open. Like with my eyes, like right now, they feel like they're completely open. But then I'll go look in the mirror and my eyes are like this. But I'm like, I feel like I see bird. My eyes like this.
Yeah,
it's just like, yo, like just.
All right, let's take a moment just to remind everybody that we're live from First Live Studios,
219 Central Avenue.
What a beautiful place, man.
Bushwick, Brooklyn, 11221. You know where we're at, man.
On the corner of Central and Stanhope.
Yes, sir. And look at who those two guys just passed. You see that? I know. Who's that guy in the boat hat? He looks familiar. That looks like we've seen that video. I feel like we've seen that show. Didn't we see this show before? I feel like we've seen so much of that sign. All this looks so familiar. Why does it look like a Watchtower sign in the background?
That does look like the Watchtower sign.
That is the Watchtower sign.
Wow.
See? We were going good to that picture, Danny. we got a bone to pick with you with that picture, Danny.
Oh, man. He's putting up Watchtower headquarters.
Yeah, man. What are you trying to do? You subliminally sending us a message here?
Look.
Are you sending us a subliminal message, Danny?
How long was this taking to go? Because they
took that down. It says welcome now. They sold that. Like when you come over, like the W is still up, but
the W's still up?
The W is still up, but they got the W, but else they spelled they spelled welcome. So it says
that it was probably too expensive to get the W down. They said fucking.
Nah, they took down like the Watchtower, but it's still the same color, same red. Just the W still there, but they put new letters up that says welcome across now instead of what it used to say. And yeah, man. What's with the Watchtower building there, Danny? What's up with that?
He's giving us subliminals.
Like, what you trying to tell us, man?
That was from like 2016.
You want us to go back to the truth? What are you trying to tell us, Danny?
Don't do it.
Danny,
he
man,
doesn't know the lingo.
You sending us subliminal messages here, man? You want us to not be of the world anymore?
He does not know the lingo of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Ah, man, how many states are medical now? All right, let's say completely legalized. Let's count them.
Because remember what Maritza Davila said. She said as soon
we
as
have
it gets
15
legalized
right
out
now,
here, she's coming
completely
back.
legalized, they said. Completely legalized, it seems more. Let's see how many states where it's not decriminalized.
So
Can you bring that map back up
It's
to me?
legal in Alaska?
Let's see, fully illegal. I see Idaho. I'm thinking that's not Wyoming. What's that next to Idaho? That is Wyoming. Okay. That Kansas down here, come down. Yep. Tennessee over here. I can see right there. That'd be Georgia underneath it? No, Alabama. That's South Carolina. And I think Florida's illegal too. No, Florida, they didn't jive. Florida's decriminalized. So completely illegal still. We have Alabama.
It says mixed.
Mixed? Oh.
It says it's not decriminalized, but it's medicinal.
Well, that's kind of weird.
Oh, that's stupid. Texas. Medicinal CBD oils only.
Works for me.
And
what's New York?
We're still on.
Legal status mixed, medicinal yes, decriminalized yes. Now, when it comes to New York, man, one of our first episodes, Danny, do you remember one of our first episodes where we read off those stats? And it was that New York City consumes the most weed per ton.
I remember that one.
In the entire world. It was one of our first episodes. We were still sitting in there. We still had the Harbor Studio, and I can't remember what the group was who released the study, and I didn't read the whole study. We're just going on for blurbs, and I was looking through it on my phone as we were actually live doing it, and I'm trying to see if it was per capita, and they said no, it's just by pure weight, New York City, and like I said, second came up, I believe it was Karachi, Pakistan, and I almost want to say Islamabad, Pakistan, and
How do you think they smoke their weed?
you know what I'm gonna say? A lot of people I know, a couple of my homies from work, security, African, from Sudan, have family there, and they smoke over there, and they say that in America, really, are the only people that roll complete joints all with weed. Like
So they
just
do doobies.
they do doobies, they do. I don't know what you call, like a lot of really, you see how people like they roll all right, if they roll raw or they roll bottom or whatever paper they roll,
The Fronto.
they'll put a piece of Fonto in there, or people crush up the Fonto and sprinkle it on top with the.
Is it Fonto or Fronto?
I have no idea. Most people I know call it Fonto. I don't know anyone say Fonto. Most people I know always call it Fonto leaf.
And what is it? Like tobacco? What is it?
It's just tobacco.
Big ass leaf.
It's just a big ass tobacco leaf, and you break it. You roll. It's crazy though. One of my homies, man, that's how we used to smoke when we got off of work on Saturdays. One of my homies, he lived in the sty, not too far from here. He's down in Florida now. But we would be coming this way, and we both had bud. He roll up, man, and once we hit the FDR, open up the sunroof and blow it down, bro.
Fronto.
Fronto?
Fronto/grubba.
Nah.
It's a whole leaf tobacco. Because everybody, I didn't start smoking that shit till I moved to Briarwood, and I had a Jamaican neighbor. He would put that shit in his joints all the time.
I hadn't smoked it until my homie, I just said I never had it before. I never knew people that smoked it. It didn't seem like I was
He's
seeing
Jamaican?
Huh?
He's Jamaican?
Jamaican and Haitian, if I'm not mistaken.
That's like a big Jamaican thing to add to the joints.
Yeah. And then I started seeing more people like doing it and it's become more normal.
Actually, it gets you more high, I feel.
I feel like done properly it does. I feel like some people, if they don't do it right, it has too harsh of a taste. If done properly,
It burns
it
Brenna's
does feel
throat.
like-
She doesn't even like taking remember how it used to break up the clips? If there was like a Fronto leaf in there, she can't deal with it because it's too harsh on her throat.
Some people it's too harsh. Like for me, if you put too much, it's too harsh for me. Like I'd rather inhale a cigar than that.
When you put weed into remember the vaporizers that you actually had to put the nug in? Once you heat that up, that's taking out all the THC, right?
A majority of it. That doesn't completely take it all out. It takes out a majority. There are people who do that, like that use like volcanoes or that use like the same vape but use the hose to pull it out of. That use those, and they'll use that as filler for like J's or like with weed.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like,
it does. If it's not completely like, here's what a lot of people I know have said. Like if it's not completely black, and the vaporizer doesn't do that to it, or you have your shit too high, and you're probably scarring your throat or fucking like scarring your lungs with heat that high if you turn your weed black in a vaporizer. But like when it's that brown, it's like it still has a little bit of THC, not a lot. But if you're smoking bud and you want to stretch it, and you're smoking a J or a blunt, you mix that in, it'll,
right when you get out the train station in Greenpoint, there's a new spot, and it's a CBD spot, but they have
That's the spot I was telling you about when I walked by. But right next to it is the other masterpiece.
Yeah. So they have. I was looking at the window.
I went in there before. I don't mean to keep cutting.
They got all these nugs just sitting in jars and shit. But when you ask them, they'll be like, "Oh, there's no THC in there."
It's all CBD. But here's the thing: a CBD high isn't the cycle. It
just calms you.
Yeah, it calms you. It's, some if you know what you're doing, THC it could target pain. They could target. It's the both consider. I never get the word right. Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids. So I did get it right. Is they can, if you know what you're doing, actual scientists, botany, all that, they can know what this cannabinoid this instead of THC, CBD, both the same. but different strains of it or different chemical breakdowns to get it. Both considered cannabinoids, and if you know which one, you can have one's target for pain, target for anxiety, target for stress. Target to help you sleep better, target to help help with your appetite. They all, if you know what you're doing when it comes to that, and if you just have to know what you're doing. And there's
What
people
the-
that say, that swear that THC and CBD are completely different.
Do you know what Biden's plans are for marijuana legalization?
He hasn't said anything. I would think if he has, and when it comes down to it, it's also we know the private prison system in this country and why it's a thing. Is that people don't wanna, people don't wanna, see it out legalized completely.
My whole thing is that when you think
This is
about
the
just
exact reason.
the hemp industry,
I said it yesterday. I tell people all the time. I talk about weed.
we could talk
simply
about
because
all the benefits
I
of that
enjoy
shit.
smoking weed. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy smoking weed. I'm very open about it. When we had Kristen on, she was open about it with herself. So that helped. Smoking weeds helped her obviously deal with the PTSD, while also deal with drinking and curbing that issue. And she's been sober for months now. More than a year. Got to be at like 14, 15 months now. And if you speak to people, I'm honest about it. I tell people, I tell you, I was a fucking this close to being a fucking drunk, like when I was working, and it was stressful
remember.
work. Like I was out at the bar every night after work.
And you drink liquor.
I was drinking.
You was drinking liquor.
I was drinking liquor and beer. I shot and beer. Like, and this is before I figured out that tequila was my happy drink. I'm talking whiskey and beer, bro, every night. Angry. And then I started smoking that low green plant.
And like you mentioned before, it was within the first 3 episodes of doing the show that we mentioned those statistics.
It was one of my
I
really
remember
early
that
ones.
episode. Imagine the amount of tax revenue New York City would make.
I tell people all the time, New York City, man. And then all right, let's look. We're thinking we're thinking tax revenue on THC products. We're thinking that. And I told you the homie who came down that time, and that was a bit of a debacle. But when I saw the receipt, what the tax was, for
Yeah.
that shit, it was fucking wild. And imagine that in New York, with what New Yorkers smoke, and you know this already. And then you're gonna open up so many more avenues for young young entrepreneurs and shit in New York State. And if you really make it a way where it's not dominated by people who aren't of color, who were selling before, and who are disproportionately in jails across this country, across this nation, as a result of fucking weed arrests. That needs to be the representation. I'm sorry, not these. They say pot moms, weed moms who smoke weed.
Get the
that's
hell
cool
outta
and
here.
shit. It's like, kiss my ass.
You call them drug dealers when they're on the corner, but if you have a little a beautiful smile and a social media channel,
Yeah, weed
now,
mom.
now you're a weed mom.
Yeah, blog mom.
Get the
I
fuck outta
like,
here.
I don't want to be with this shit. Kiss my ass.
And
I'd say much worse things, but we've been trying to keep it clean.
Yeah,
we
I'm
dropped a couple
trying
of
very
bombs.
hard right now.
I didn't drop a SMD. I didn't say kiss my. I didn't say kiss my big back. So
it's
trying to be a little
cra-
bit more friendly here. But honestly, we're talking about THC. We're talking about THC here now.
Kamala Harris, real quick. She's known for the disproportionate statistics of locking people of color up. How many of those arrests do you think were like regular weed? Dime
A lot of
bags?
people said were a lot of regular, small, frivolous weed arrests.
So now,
But she's even said that she wasn't like both of them have at least admitted they weren't proud of that, but it was their jobs and they did it, and they both would like to see that overturned and see shit change, but it has to come from the top. If the federal government just pulls their heads out of asses, and it's like you can say with anyone, what has the war on drugs achieved since it started when Nixon? It was Nixon started the war on drugs, if I'm not mistaken, right? Nixon started the war on drugs. If I'm not mistaken. It's either Nixon or Carter, man. But I want to say it was Nixon.
sounds like a Nixon thing. I think the war on drugs is about as frivolous as the war on terror. It's a war on nothing, bro.
1971. Who started? Who was president in 1971? Ongoing. June 18th, 1971. I feel like it was still Nixon. I didn't even need to read
Nixon?
through that. Yeah, I'll say it was Nixon. Whoever was president during 71. But I feel like Nixon started the war on drugs out here. So people were coming home, from heroin blew up after Vietnam, how bad it got in inner cities. We obviously know the sordid history of crack and the CIA with cocaine and the Contras and all that whole Sandistas, all that whole affair. But if you look at it over the last, let's say this is 71, so this would be what, 40, 50 years? Let's say for 49 years. What have the war on drugs achieved over the last 49 years?
Nothing.
Except making drugs more readily available and accessible.
Because it wasn't a war on drugs. It was a war on people.
It was a war on poor people. Well,
So
war on
you-
poverty.
you-
Instead of a real war on poverty, you wanted to war on the shit around poverty, the system, like the shit that happens because of poverty.
You flood
the
the
effects of
neighborhoods
poverty.
with drugs, and then you increase the sentences when you get caught with those drugs. Now you're just pushing people into these cells, getting your free labor going through all these private institutions.
And people that don't understand that, man. People that do not understand the private prison industrial complex in this country, or the private prison industry in this country in general.
And even
And if
how
you-
it ties into the music industry. You remember the secret meeting that everybody had.
Let's call it the alleged secret meeting. We believe it, but let's say alleged there.
The
because
alleged secret
we don't
meeting.
have hard proof, and we've had that discussion. Alleged, but even when you see, but you think about it now. Look at, and again, we had this discussion when I was talking with Chino about the 6ix9ine shit the other day. And we were talking, and it's like you look at in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they say, West Coast gangster rap, East Coast rap with the bang bang shoot 'em up shit was glorifying gang life, drug dealing, selling, being in the streets, and that led a lot of young men to that lifestyle and this shit. And now that in the dirt, but now you have the music industry, I won't say back to that gang banging lifestyle, but kind of still floating close, but getting closer than it's been in a long time. But also, the drug influence in music has never been higher or stronger than it ever was. Like, you knew rock stars.
Because it's beyond drug dealing now. It's drug using.
You knew rock stars did drugs through the 70s, 60s, and 80s. They made 1 or 2, 3 songs total about it. You maybe what Eric Clapton
Purple
did
Haze.
Cocaine, Purple Haze, Puff the Magic Dragon, and the songs.
But those were classics.
Those were classics, and even the songs that were about drugs, they were innuendos. They weren't so openly. It was Percocet, Molly Percocet.
See, what's this guy's name? The Weeknd.
Yeah,
I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
like I tell people, I love The Weeknd
Th-
so
that-
much.
that-
I
that's-
fuck with The Weeknd heavy, man.
That's lyrical ability that allows you to be in the party without realizing that
Yeah.
you're dancing to him doing cocaine.
Like that, you don't know that there's a song about a guy talking about his face being numb from doing blow, and even when he addressed it on the next album on Reminder, but I can't remember the whole line, but he was like, I just won a teen source, just won a teen award from video show about my face numb off a bag of blow, and it's like, goddamn bitch, I'm not teen choice. Like, he's like saying, like, hey, listen, that's song one for kids, and you got kids dancing around in a song about me doing lines of yay, so much that my face is numb.
and everybody at the party's just like,
I can't feel my. I love this.
yeah.
Hey, baby, I can't feel my face. I love it. Like, and they love it. They don't really pay attention to it. It's like when people used to love the old song, the reggae song. We were in high school. We had just graduated, and girls like had it up on their MySpace page and shit.
God damn.
One girl can set this fire. She need more wood for the fire.
Oh, I remember that
Flame
shit.
the fire. And like, yo, chicks got this up on their MySpace page. Like, you do realize he's talking about a chick that ended up with the monster because she was fucking everybody, right?
Oh my God.
And you're like,
No, he's not. He's talking about smoking.
no. She was smoking. Not in the way we want. Not in the way we want, son.
Yeah, man.
But
There
like-
was a few rock bands that they had songs that were just a little too overboard.
Like
Queens of the Stone Age, they have a song called "The Feel Good Hit of the Summer," and the lyrics are nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. That's what he says throughout the entire song. So the hip hop version of that will be like Future's Molly Percocet.
Molly Percocet.
And everybody now, when you listen to the songs back in the day, I feel like people wanted to hustle and make money. Now they just want to get drugged up and
Now they want to get drugged up and sit there and feel
fucking lean.
Feel the lean, the flood. It's like, yo, how many of these rappers have to die before you people stop it? It's like, they talked about gangbanging. We lost people to the streets. We still losing people to the streets. Obviously, rappers still getting shot. Hey, who was it got shot this weekend? Benny the Butcher got shot in the leg in Texas.
Benny got
Another
shot.
rapper got
King
shot.
Von got killed.
King Von got killed. There was another rapper was shot at the dude who Mike Tyson just sunned on his shit on the podcast.
Oh, Boozy.
Yeah. He got shot in Texas this weekend.
He got shot in the leg too.
Yeah. And it's crazy to hear these things or know these things are going down, man.
That's why I say the hip hop industry is its own beast. That's not even music industry, because
that's its own animal, man.
That's street, that's music, that's
And it
entertainment,
combines, man. It's
that's
like,
strip clubs.
yeah, and you see like with the 6ix9ine, with the 6ix9ine documentary, when like they talk about what how Treyway started the 9 Trey, how they started, like how they considered a criminal enterprise like the mafia. So anything ever goes down, you all get hit with RICO. Why they all did, why it went down so bad. They showed like the split, the fracture, why what happened when he got kidnapped. It's crazy, but like you said, it's its own beef. But it even showed how beef started in their clique, and now how that started to like fracture and cause some of the problems amongst Treyway and them and everything going on to where it was a problem. And
yeah, that's a good one right there. You see, because of that, it just makes me glad that I still play some guitar. I try. I spit bars, but if we do rap, it's got to be like Lonely Island.
that's
comedy.
what I said. I can't be on the beat like talking like I was having fun that day. Like me and my like I ain't mobbing out with. I ain't got like who am I mobbing out with? Me, Lorenzo, and June. Me, Lorenzo, June, Craig, you. Maybe we could put a crew together. Is this a crew that you gonna see in the club and think we gonna stomp and break? No, you gonna see us walk in the club and be like, all right, let's just monitor their alcohol consumption so they don't get too wild.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna see us walk in the club and be like, yo,
We're not banging.
make sure they ain't got no bangers. Make sure they ain't got the blicky blams on them. Like make sure they cool. All right?
Like, imagine 2 jazz musicians just shooting at each other in the street, or for that spot at 40 Deuce.
Man, BB Kings.
No, I'm talking about like I be seeing a lot of jazz musicians play in the subway, but they be
Oh
fighting
man,
for those
right
spots
oh man, you talking about right there in front of
in front of that little headphone store.
was it Sound Factory? Sound. What is it
That
called?
store that's inside the
I
station.
think it's called Sound Factory. They closed, right?
Shit.
Pandemic shut them down, bro.
The last thing I got there was some skull candies.
This last thing I got there was some skull candies for me and my pops. And it's crazy. I think those are the ones I lent to you. He still has his.
Oh shit.
He still has it. And you know what it is though? He had lent me some, and I don't know what it was. I had bad luck. I went through like a year and a half, 2 years where every headphone I used was shorting out. Like it would just out of nowhere be shorted out. Just eventually one side go. Like I had a terrible run of luck with them.
You play your music at 10 decibels above.
No,
zero,
that was
bro.
even when I had the phones where I couldn't do that, bro. It was just shorting out, bro. I had bad luck. And now, like, I have these headphones that sound like speakers on my ear, and I haven't had a single problem with them. Even though I have them under warranty, I should tell Amazon I have a problem, so send me a new pair.
All right, so it's about that time of the show. We got our big brother Neil is with us. We're about to set him up, but before we bring him on, we're just going to recap one of his shows here at this fantastic studio. First Live Studios are here at 219 Central Avenue. And, of course, if you want to use the space, go to firstlive.us. That's the place to do it.
All the information you need.
And we're back. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're back. That was just Neil Rosenthal, right? I got that right?
You got it right.
Woo, there we go.
You got a famous name, bro.
I was just going to ask you, do you by chance have an uncle or cousin named Ken?
I do not.
All right.
Because I remembered Rosenthal.
Ken Rosenthal's a commentator on Fox Sports.
Yeah,
a lot of-
I listen to him every Sunday. He calls one of the football games on Fox. I'm pretty sure I would listen to him call college football too on Saturdays.
Yeah,
but
I've been asked
I
about
know
Ken
that
Rosenthal, and then I think there's a Rosenthal that did like the scoring for I think Boy Meets World or something.
Yeah.
But,
Boy Meets World.
yeah, that's a throwback.
It's
God
crazy. You know, you
dang.
said my girl since they put
Topanga.
what show what they just put that on something. I think it is on Disney Plus.
Probably.
I think
that
it-
was a Disney show. No?
Is either on Disney Plus or Hulu? Either Disney or ABC, one of the two. The ABC owns goddamn Disney, so or Disney owns ABC, whichever way it is. One owns the other.
That was the dude that I always used to confuse with Shia LaBeouf.
Who?
The main character. What's his name?
Corey?
Matthews.
I
Corey
don't know his actual name.
I don't know his
But Kid
actual
Corey.
I thought that was Shia LaBeouf for years. Till I saw Even Stevens.
Like,
I was
man, that's the
holy shit,
busiest
this
man.
Shia.
And
I never seen
It's
it.
like, what
Somebody
the-
said Shia LaBeouf was on Even Stevens, and I'm like, I never even watched that show, so I wouldn't even know, man. I was like,
So you heard some of our conversation before.
yeah,
So when did you first get into your first jazz beef?
my first jazz beef. Oh man, definitely. So I grew up in Providence, or at least going to sessions in Providence, and one of my teachers, Eric Benny Bloom, he would always have me come to almost like his gigs, or even give me places to go for jam sessions. And sometimes at a jam session you can get into some beef if somebody's like, it's always a little bit competitive, or if somebody's soloing for too long and they want their spotlight, and it's like fighting for it's a little
Because it's all
territorial.
improv, right?
All improv, yeah.
That's why you said you didn't even remember playing that shit. Because once you in it, you in it.
Yeah, right. When it's just a different state of mind, and you're so in the moment that you don't really. After it's done and you just black out for a second, you're like, oh, well, what did I just do?
See, but that all comes with music theory. Like, you can't do that shit unless you know music. Like, music is a language. You gotta learn how to speak that. Because
Right.
every time I try to go into a jam session, that's why I don't do. Every time we did like
yeah,
all the way live,
I'm not
I
getting.
can't
They
do
tried to
that.
get me up there. I said like 3 bars one time. I said like 3 lines. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
So you classically trained?
Well, I would say, yeah. So my mom had me from 3rd grade, I would say. She had me play cello and piano classically. And I would do that through grade school, and I picked up the trumpet as well, and I would do like the concert band and jazz bands, and then I actually had a injury for my knee, and I was out for doing sports for a little bit, and so I was like, I guess this is a good time to pick up guitar.
What did you play?
For
Sports.
sports. So I was a competitive fencer nationally and internationally, and then I was also a mixed martial artist.
Damn
and
shit.
so there was a lot of impact on the
I
on the
don't
body.
see. Those I don't consider sports, man. I consider those like that's warrior shit, man. Fencing's essentially sword fighting, and
It's-
MMA speaks for itself.
I mean, it's all tactics.
They
it's
are
all,
sports, but they are like a different level of sports.
Gladiator
those are like
sports.
solo sport. This ain't
Right, you
team
can't-
sport.
you
This
can't
isn't
rely on
team
your
sports.
team,
Like
yeah.
I can't rely on you. Like I ain't got it today, but I know I can get it to you, or I could pick you up.
Right.
This is all self-reliant.
Yep,
shit,
it's like,
man. It's like
today I
playing
know I messed
solos
up.
and tenants. Like I only played solos and tenants one time, man. It's like, hey, coach, I'm
did
playing.
that
I'm
shit.
playing pairs from now on, right? Doubles, playing doubles.
Right, there you go.
So you got injured, decided to pick up an instrument.
Yeah, so I remember I got a guitar from Walmart, and it was like a super cheap Walmart guitar. My brother actually, he showed me a YouTube clip of Dragon Force while I was incapacitated, and I was like, how do you move that fast with your fingers? Like, how do you do that? Yeah, and then so I
doesn't
just
know
tried
about
to I
Dragon
just tried to
Force.
teach myself that stuff, and then eventually I started to get into like my friends started to play guitar, and we started to show each other music, and then I eventually started to take a few lessons, and I got introduced to Eddie Van Halen, and I started to like spray paint my guitar with all the lines and stuff, and then and I started gigging with guitar. So
I just heard you say what?
Like when you say you got introduced to Eddie Van Halen,
His
like,
music
you
or
met
him?
or his music?
oh no, not like
Oh.
legitimately. No, I've seen him play live. That was
That's why he
one
was
of
like,
my
what?
favorite
You
concerts,
say you
but-
got introduced
No,
to
no,
Eddie.
no.
Eddie
I wish.
Van
He just
Halen's
died?
the one who just died, right? He recently
Yeah,
died.
yeah. So that hit home for me. But yeah, the first song I ever learned on guitar really was Eruption. So
You said when you first got your guitar, how old are you, by the way?
so I'm 27 now.
And how long have you been playing?
I've been playing since I want to say like freshman year of high school.
Because when he said that he went on YouTube, it's like when I first bought my guitar, I was 13 years old. We didn't have YouTube.
Oh
yeah.
chords, man.
We had to go on
You had to pave the way.
ultimateguitar.com, find the tabs.
yes.
I didn't care about learning
Yeah.
music outside of
That was
school,
it.
man. But it's messed up. Every time I really wanted to, like once I got to high school, I didn't care about music anymore. It was all sports.
yeah.
But in junior high school, our sixth grade year, I was learning piano in music class, and our music teacher died.
Oh wow.
And it was weird. Like he was out for
While
like a week.
class?
Not in class. He died at home, but he was out for like a week, and we didn't know. It's like, damn, he thought, telling us he'd be back. You gotta show us this, show us that. He's showing us piano, showing us other shit, and we all liking instruments. And then they tell us we'll come in next week. It's like, listen, we got something to tell you. They told us they found him dead in his apartment. He
Oh
just
my
died
God.
at home. And then then we didn't have music. Seventh grade, we didn't have a music teacher.
Yeah.
Eighth grade year, doing music. Started picking up the drums a little bit, but I only had it
Hey.
for a little while. And then that
when I
music
had the
teacher
kid
got
in
in
my
trouble and got sent to, like one of those rubber rooms for something he
Yeah.
did. So now I ain't have music again. And then I didn't get music again till senior year of high school. And we ain't even have no instruments. Like, it was like, they showing us like the sections of the orchestra, like just like, all right, this is the string.
Yeah, music
That's
class in
the,
Bushwick was
wind
garbage.
instrument area. This is the bass instrument area. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, damn. So like, we not there. The teacher did one time. He had buddies and bands, so rolled in a couple instruments, and he showed us them, play them, but didn't get to learn how to play instruments and shit.
I remember when my first guitar was a purple Squire Fender.
Oh yeah.
I got it for $100 at
Yep.
Guitar Center.
Yep.
I remember I went home, and this was when LimeWire was still hot, Napster
Ooh,
and shit.
LimeWire. Wow.
Ooh, LimeWire.
And I went and I
Yeah.
downloaded Arpeggios from Hell by Yngwie
Yes,
Malmsteen.
Yngwie Malmsteen. Yep.
was
I
like,
remember
yo.
that.
And I'm looking at this, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could ever be able to do this. So he's going up and down, like different octaves, different modes. There's mad different shit that he does in this little piece.
So much hair product.
And then I'm just gonna play some Nirvana.
Yes.
And then I went
Yes.
to playing these 2-string songs, bro. That was just so easy to play. And that you got to build up your confidence. That's the thing with music is like you can't just try to start at like fucking Satriani. Like you got to work your way up. So
Fuck is Satriani?
see, he knows.
Joe Satriani.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
He's like-
he's one of those guitar shredders. But
I'm totally.
I go in and out of phases where sometimes I'm more attracted to like the complexity of like Joe Satriani or Yngwie Malmsteen, but then something like Nirvana that's a lot of times more powerful to me.
That's what upset me the most was that, especially when I got in the music industry and I started seeing a lot of bands, a lot of people that I know, that they'll create these amazing musical pieces
Right.
that will never become anything because they're just overly complicated. And then you got the 2-string songs on Nirvana that's
Right.
been playing for the past
Right.
30 years. So it's just like, what do you do? Do you keep it simple, dumb yourself down, or do you
You find that they a fair balance. I think the good acts
I
find
think
that
so.
fair balance.
Yeah.
They know. I mean, we know they have to drop singles if you want your album to sell, but we know B-sides. We know
Right.
some of the cuts you want to hear on an
Right.
album don't become singles because they're too long. They don't think they'll become radio friendly. You know.
Yeah, but Dragon Force.
It all comes back to Dragon.
Dragon Force is a whole lot. Christian put me on a Dragon Force. And my boy, he was a lead singer, big metal band. They used to be on the radio out here all the time. And his guitar player he had this weird way of creating the music. He would do everything in MIDI first. So it sounded
Yeah.
like a cartoon, like Sega Genesis music. And then he'll send it to all the guitar players, and they're all just playing different colors within the MIDI. And it's just, when it comes together, this shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get that stuff played on the radio.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because people want repetitive, people want hypnotizing music, the Molly Percocet, all like shit like that.
I mean, but I think that's where there becomes a difference between that and like true artists and musicians.
That's why we had so many submissions when we first started the radio show, because everybody was looking for an outlet. Nobody was giving them an opportunity.
It's, I mean,
With somebody like your skill set, you ever thought about like scoring for films?
I actually have. That was something that I delved into a little bit more in quarantine. But I was getting into. I was doing a few indie
movies and a few like scores for movies that got picked up by festivals and here and there. But yeah, it was I love film scoring and
So
writing
you have the
scene.
movie playing.
Yeah, so
you have
the
feeling.
process would be, all right, what's the emotion that you're feeling in this specific minute, and then you try to catch that, and you just keep running that specific minute on loop, and then you eventually get something that feels right.
So how
Matches.
were they short films? You did features or?
Yeah. So, for example, one of the ones that I thought was the most interesting process was a 15-minute short film, and I had recently picked up pedal steel as an instrument, so I'm still learning the instrument and finding new colors with how to play it. And it's the essential story is this guy who kind of has a weird relationship with technology, and it makes him eventually get to the scene where he's trying to jump off of the roof of a building, and he's going back and forth with the thought of actually going through with it. And so you're trying to go through that kind of stress of this character on the roof of a building, and like, all right, what sounds would you want to hear? What approach would you want? Would you want spooky? Would you want like anticipation building? And then it gets to a point where he starts to run, and then his foot gets caught on a wire, and then he actually ends up tripping and falling right before he actually has the possibility of jumping off the building. And then there's like this huge release, and then everything comes to like he has a realization of, oh, I can it's fate. I should have
You should have died.
right, but I'm here.
Now imagine looking at that and trying to capture all of that musically.
Right.
I can see stuff for
That's
music.
crazy.
I don't know if I can write the music for the stuff. 'Cause, I do it with Dave Pitt's music. While you were in the bathroom while he was just playing, I told him, bro, like I saw that. I told him I feel like I'm walking into like a beachfront wedding, like reception. Not on the beach, but like the venues on the water, like, has the nice little boardwalk. There's sand right there, then the water, but there's a nice breeze. Everybody has on linen. Like, and I thought, like, I can see the scene for the
linen.
music.
Hey.
I can't make the music for the scene.
So do you play keys?
Not well enough to play in front of people, but I can do like the MIDI thing where
So-
I play around until I get.
Yeah, because I was
the
gonna
sounds
ask you,
that I
do you
want.
just score with guitar or do you have multiple instruments?
Yeah,
that you use?
so it's really just whatever I'm feeling inspiration on. So for or I have the most harmonic grasp of. So usually that's guitar. And then if I for some reason hear a melody first, I'll pick up the trumpet and I'll go through something like that. But yeah, I mean it's really just using harmony to try to get the emotions to translate.
See, whenever I watch the setup, because I watch a lot of videos of people scoring shit, and you can actually do it in Logic. Like if you drag a movie file,
Yeah.
it'll play the movie while you're recording the shit, so you can score it.
Yeah.
Like these are powerful softwares that people have that they don't really use to their full capability. But whenever I watch the process, it's always fascinating because it's like you said, we can listen to something and visualize a scene, but to watch something and visualize the music or hear the music, that's gonna actually, help with the anticipation, the build up, the climax, all that shit. Audio wise, it's like, yo, that's a whole other beast.
That's
in
a whole
itself.
other beast in of itself, man. Like you have to, and I always say this, man. There's no shame in admitting you don't have certain skills. That's not a skill I have. Like I say it all the time. If I can't do something, I'm not gonna pretend to know or do it badly. I'm gonna say I don't know how to do that. I'm not gonna do it.
So how has performing? Because I assume that you perform with other people.
Oh, yeah.
You've done shows.
Yeah.
How has COVID disrupted that?
Ooh, well, that was really tough for a moment because I had a lot of shows on the schedule, and it's actually funny. So I was out of the country when everything was going down. So around like the middle of March,
Man, you one of those ones who had to rush back.
my flight was literally the last flight, and the trip was to Peru to do some hiking, and then. So we had
You said
a
Peru?
connection. Peru, yeah. So we did Machu Picchu.
Yeah,
and
he-
it was like
he went-
literally the first
He's not gonna talk
vacation
about
I've
the
ever taken in
ayahuasca.
my entire life, just to like
Ah,
not do
man.
music or anything. But
You took some ayahuasca.
well, that's another story. No,
I had a similar experience, I'll say, to ayahuasca, but anyway.
Smoke some DMT.
But yeah, so the last flight was from Cusco to Lima, and then we had our connecting flight from Lima to New York City, and we were stuck, we were delayed, and we literally made our flight with 10 minutes to spare. And if we would have missed that flight, we would have been stuck for a long time in Peru. But yeah, so we made it, and then, but while I was there the whole time, I was texting with my girlfriend, and she was like, "Yeah, we have this new thing we have to worry about. That's it's called social distancing." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I remember when they first started saying right before work shut down and everything, because I worked on Broadway, I did security. And right before, as it's becoming a thing, they're telling us they're putting up, like this night was the night they put up the signs, like, because of the COVID-19.
Right.
We're not signing no autographs, no stage door, please
Right.
don't set up. They was putting up the signs. While I have people in the lobby, I'm telling them, like, listen, with this going on, I'm going to shut the lobby earlier tonight.
Right.
So I don't have a bunch of people standing on top of each other in here, and, it's elderly people on top of that.
Right.
So I'm going to just make everybody else get in line. So I have a lady in there, and she's like, I'm trying to socially distance. I'm like, get in a lobby full of fucking people, lady. I was like, either step inside or step off the line.
Right.
Like, don't give me shit right now, bro. I'm already headed down the path of hell, man. And then it was like 2-3 days later, everything got shut down. It was like, lady, listen, I get you. I get that. She's like, I'm trying to socially distance right now. I was like, it's a little rough.
Appreciate the effort, but yeah.
You need to think that through a bit more.
I just hate how these definitions are becoming more and more obscure. Social distancing is turning into isolation, just the same way that the fuck was that?
Somebody turned the corner on some action movie shit.
Somebody turned up the corner going the wrong
My
way.
band, they're running late. They'll be here.
They just drove up the wrong way.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we gotta have that PTZ outside, bro.
Ain't
Gotta
that?
capture
Your
this
tires
shit.
sound like somebody driving real regular in a goddamn garage. I'll never for the life of me understand why garages sound like that. Bro. Like, yo, all we doing is turning up a ramp, bro. We are not in a fucking chase scene in Michael Bay film.
See, he's gonna come up with a score for that one. He's gonna score that.
Just
That
driving.
What the hell was I talking about before this? I forgot what I was saying.
The COVID, how it
Oh yeah,
impacted everything.
turning to isolation and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was having this conversation with somebody, and they were pointing out all the definitions that society has kind of obscured the meaning to. One of the things that he said was, "I'm not going to tell you I'm creating a debt slave. I'm going to tell you I'm giving you credit." So just something as simple as that. Now I'm just kind of like going through the list of all these different sayings that they're using now to kind of explain the situation and seeing what the real meaning is. And I've seen enough documentaries on what is that? The solitary confinement in prisons. That just being alone, being away from people, that shit is not healthy. That shit is crazy. It'll kill the mind.
Yeah, it's made a lot of people address things that they might have been, nudging under the or from the spotlight, and so
You have no one to talk to but yourself.
I think this proved to a lot of people, you need to realize how to be okay with yourself. This pandemic, how to handle shit, man. There's a lot of people, like you said, man. I mean, I admitted I wasn't doing that great in the beginning, but I was away from I was with people, but I was away from my entire family because they all got sick.
Yeah.
And I was out of town, so I had to stay where I was.
Right.
I was with my girlfriend and her roommates, people I got along with, and it was still just the fact knowing everything was going on. It was hard. It was so breaking. It was so crushing. It was heartbreaking.
yeah.
But what you said is also true, man, is that people were taking, social distancing to mean stay in the house all day. Don't go anywhere. If you do go out, wear gloves, wear a mask,
Right.
which you should.
Right.
I'm not saying not to do those things.
Right.
But the way I see some people like just overdoing it, like I saw a dude on the train the other day with like a bubble mask over his head. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen those. They
Buddy,
starting
like,
to sell like
we're
space
not
helmets.
hazmat
like we're
suits,
not
yeah.
there yet. Like we're not there, man. There's some people overdoing it. Some people a little too nonchalant. I saw like a young couple on the train when I was coming home last week from my girls on Friday, and they got on at Grand Central Station, no mask,
Yeah.
no nothing. Got on the L train, come the same way as me, no mask, just willy nilly. Like still seeing people like on the train like eating chips. Like I'll pull my mask down and take a sip of water, but seeing people eating
I'll put the
chips,
straw
like,
under
I've
the
seen-
mask.
Yeah, that's the funny
Yo,
thing.
I've
People
seen-
have the mask like under their chin and they're just
What
eating
the
like
fuck?
Yo,
full on. So.
like I've seen people
Like it's
like,
a
yo,
bib.
I've seen a girl like with gloves on, eating like nuggets,
Yeah,
like
man.
Just touching everything, using the
nuggets,
same gloves.
nuggets, but like licking
What
the
a
sauce off
dummy.
the gloves, like yo, like that's worse than licking it off your fingers at this point. You probably got more dirt on those gloves, like that. But just the asinine shit people are doing right now.
My boy told me that his 16-year-old son just licked the pole in the fucking in the
Wow.
train that everybody holds on to.
Why?
Because his friends told him that he was immune to COVID.
Well, how's he
So
doing now?
this,
That's what I want to know.
this is just
Now he's got a 14
kind of
day.
it's like this is the kind of mindset people have these days, bro.
I mean, people are just asinine. Look at, I mean, right in the beginning of it, we said it. The dude who licked the pole, it was like I told you, it looked like it was in Times Square.
Then
on the
he
train.
catch it. Then
He caught it, and then the girl, the dumbass girl who licked the toilet seat on the plane, she caught it.
Ugh.
Like, why would you lick a toilet seat anywhere?
Hey, right.
Lick a toilet seat on a goddamn
Dumbass.
airplane, on an airline fucking lavatory toilet seat. What are you thinking?
You know, it's probably like Spirit Airlines or something. Like that.
It probably was. Clout, if you clout chasing
Spirit
like
is
that,
the
you
word.
ain't flying first class or doing something good, man. Like that's some Spirit Frontier shit.
You ever flew Spirit?
Yeah, I've flown Spirit once.
That is the worst
Nah,
airline.
You know what's crazy though? It wasn't as bad. Yo, the stewardess was really nice to me. When I flew out, everybody else was on a different flight. I got a flight late, so we all flew out like around the same time, going to the same place. Their flight was like 10 minutes before mine. It was JetBlue. Spirit, I was a little bit behind them. It's crazy though, but I landed in Miami before them. Like I ended like 5 minutes before them, which made no sense to me. And we all left from LaGuardia, like, and they were like 2 gates over. Like it made no sense.
because
Zero
these
sense.
pilots don't be hitting the gas, man.
I don't know what it
They
was.
just be cruising.
It made zero sense to me. But
Said his wife was waiting for him, so he was taking his time.
Right.
but like the stewardess, they saw like the seats. My legs are a little longer. They saw like where I was sitting was a little uncomfortable. So the stewardess told me, she's like, listen, after we turn off the buckle your seatbelt sign, if you want, there's nobody sitting in this row. You could take those seats so you can stretch your legs. I was like, you sure I'm allowed to do it? She's like, yeah, it's no problem. Like, you're a tall person sitting there that looks uncomfortable. Like, I literally, like, on planes, like, if I'm sitting in the aisle, like, I have to sit and, like, put my feet out in the aisle like
Right,
that, or my
right.
knees is, like, crunched up. Like, I just simply can't do it.
I'll
And
never
even
fly that
coming
shit
back
again.
from Miami, I had my knees out like that, and the stewardess told me, you know, that she hit me by accident. She's like, I'm sorry, but she's like, there was a seat in front of me, same shit, and she told me if you want, you could take those seats and stretch your legs. So it was like it was better than I thought it'd be from all the horror stories. But like,
Right.
let's not pretend we haven't seen like Spirit employees fighting Spirit customers at the gate. Like we've
I was
seen.
more
these videos
pissed off
on
because
Worldstar.
of the how much they charge me for the extra bags.
Where'd you fly Spirit to?
I flew from Tampa back over here.
Oh yeah, they charge you
It was like the
Yeah,
price,
you
the price
got
of the
the stuff
ticket.
it all
their
in
money.
backpack.
That is
The
their
price of the
money
ticket
maker.
was the price of the bag.
Right.
That's their moneymaker, is charging you those extra fees. They tell you when you book
Your flight is
ticket,
$100 to check in your bag, $250.
Right.
They tell you
What?
you're allowed a carry-on. Nah, you're
fuck?
allowed to bring a carry-on and a personal bag, like a book bag and maybe a duffel bag to
Listen,
carry on, put in the bin.
if I ever
And,
fly Spirit again, I'm gonna need him to create the music
Nah,
for,
yeah.
for when I
They
walk
tell
into
you
that.
though. But they tell you that shit. And people don't pay.
Somber.
They tell you, and it even says it when you buy the tickets on Spirit. I know people who've done it. It's like, bro, did you read it? They tell you every time, yo. If you do it when you get to the counter, it'll cost you a little bit more.
Right.
But as you go past further and further and further, it's gonna cost you more and more and more. And there's people that get all the way up to the gate and they be like, yo, that bag has to be. You mean I gotta check my bag? And then, and they're like, what you mean it's all that money? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yo, you
Rah,
read
rah.
it? They tell you if you'll simply read it. Like everybody's not JetBlue or goddamn Southwest where bags fly free. Like you did, yo, that's extra weight, which turns into
Spirit
extra,
is discount.
which turns into extra tonnage when you're flying, which turns into extra gas being burned, which turns into extra money you have to spend, which in some way has to be passed along. And if you're a discount airline company, you
And
so,
somehow they beat JetBlue to wherever you was going.
bro, I didn't see a lot of people
All
on my
that
flight,
tonnage.
bro, had book bags and carry-ons. Even when I flew, did I check my bag? No, I didn't even check my bag when I flew to Florida this time. Like when I went, I could have checked it, and they said the bag was, technically carry-on size, my great duffel bag, and my book bag that bag considered a personal one because it could fit under the seat. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not checking.
I'd
this
rather
shit.
drive. So what are you doing here today at First Live?
So Danny was gracious enough to have I think I'm doing an interview with to talk about coffee, and what role it plays in being a musician, and yeah, and then we're going to do a few recordings of the newer material that I played last Friday, and they're gonna kind of capture all that, and yeah, let's talk about some music.
What's your
So,
favorite coffee?
My favorite coffee? Oh man, I do like just iced black, straight up.
See, we was just talking about this.
I'm not a coffee drinker unless it's something from here. He just had a debacle, and he had
I've had black coffee before. I've
Yeah.
had black coffee at the Bushwick Public House, a couple blocks down,
Oh yeah.
and it was iced, but they put sugar in it. I went and I bought the Starbucks, those little double espressos.
Oh yeah.
But it came as black coffee, and it was disgusting. It's fucking. It tasted like there was still beans in it, like
Well, I mean,
beans
it
just sitting at
depends
the
on the
bottom.
brew, I think,
Depends on the road. I mean, I guess I don't know, man. I don't like I said. I don't like. I never really drink coffee. I'm sensitive to caffeine. If I have any amount of caffeine, I'm all over the place the rest of the day.
Right.
So, what brand do you drink?
I'm
you-
not really too picky.
Not like
about it.
because there's people that I've seen the Folgers people. They swear on Folgers.
The Maxwell Houses,
The Maxwell House,
You
the
have the,
Bustellos.
the Cafe Bustellos.
We the Cafe Bustellos at home. Like we can. I've had to give away my Folgers. I gave my boy my Folgers because that shit's been sitting there for like 6 months. Like nobody drinks it. Nobody likes it.
I feel like I have like, I'm so grateful for any kind of coffee because I grew up drinking Dunkin', because I'm from the Northeast.
See, we were just talking about Dunkin' is one
runs
of
on Dunkin'.
Runs on Dunkin'. Yeah.
that watered down
Exactly.
brown
Just
water.
watered down. Yeah.
The only thing I ever really liked from Dunkin' Donuts that they had hot was when they used to do the white hot chocolate.
Oh yeah.
That was really good.
Oh my God,
With
I
the
forgot.
with the whipped cream on it, that shit was like a.
From Dunkin'? When was that?
When I
Was that like a holiday thing?
Yeah, and it was limited time, bro. I
The
haven't even
pumpkin
done
spice
it.
thing that they be having?
I'll tell you how long ago it was. When I did the EMT class with Big E. When we have the break,
Damn.
when we would have the break in class, like there'd be a group of us. One of the girls would drive over, and we all go get like they get coffee. Like some of us get that, like, but we drive from.
E did that with you?
Huh?
I didn't know he did that with you. That was more than 10 years.
Nigga, I wasn't even 20 yet, bro. I was 20 when I did that class. I turned 21 after I graduated.
He passes the EMT class, and then he doesn't
Oh, you did EMT?
he doesn't get his driver's license.
That's like 14 years ago.
He's an
But it's also-
EMT passenger.
Nah, you know what it is though, man. I'm glad I chose to do that as opposed to go to college for that.
Yeah.
And then I would have had student loans and shit. Like I paid for that. Out of
I mean, I'm
pocket.
glad it didn't work out because we ended up doing radio.
We ended up doing a lot of other things. And, things work out the way they're supposed to go. I thought I wanted that at that time.
Did you actually like? Were you in EMT for a while? Or? No.
I passed the test in my state.
See,
boards.
because I did a course because I was thinking about it. My sister used to be an EMT, and so I was like, all right, I'll do what she's doing. But I got like, I want to say 3/4 of the way through it, and I heard about was it degloving? I was just like, I'm out.
Oh.
That was the
What is
one
that?
thing.
What is that?
That was the one thing that just got me.
Incident and like a degloving incident is like a finger, anything, any part of anything. But like if you get an incident like a ring or anything, and it rips your skin all the way off, like bone, like you go all the way down to the bone, and it's like it almost
So,
looks like it
so if
almost
my
look-
ring gets caught on something and then it pulls and it tears all the skin down to the bone off.
or down to
That was
the
the
back
thing where I was
muscle.
like, I'm out. Everything else was fine.
So is that like
It's-
a common thing?
It's not. I won't say fairly common, but it does happen. It's wild because I had to do like to pass. You have to do like a medical rotation. Like I
Right.
had to do was it 2 shifts or 3. I want to say
They
2.
put you on the field?
Huh?
You went on the field?
I had to I had to do a medical rotation with an FDNY unit. I want to say I did 2. It was 2 days. 2 days or 3 days. I can't remember. I think it was 2. But I had to go, wake up, and they let you pick your shift, everything. Where you want to go, what unit, where you live. I picked on Rockaway,
Yeah.
and I want to say not Atlantic, but it's by Rockaway. And
That's where the
like
class was?
Eastern, nah, the class was in 291.
So why you didn't just go with these guys?
Huh? Because you have to go to the actual ambulance station, like not to like the fire department. I could have went to Woodhall, but I'm like, I really don't want to do it. I was like, I don't want to get calls in Bushwick, so I was like, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll go there. and got like 2 calls in Bushwick while I'm doing that, bro. But having to see, and it was really like the medical rotation. I think on my life, like it's not every day. Like you have someone say, and it's like, do you want to deal with that? Like that's a stressor, bro. Like my cousin did it, my aunt did it. Like we had people who did it, and even she said like one time they got a call, a guy got shot in his throat, and like they knew they couldn't save him, but everyone's there and they're trying to like bag him and like, get him up, and it's like a hectic scene. The cops having trouble controlling things. She's like trying to help this guy. You could just feel. She says his esophagus felt like shattered glass. All of this. When he got shot. It was crazy.
So you saw that degloving thing on video? They showed you pictures, or
I think it was a video, and for some reason that was just like the thing.
That was
where
the
it all
straw
hit
that
me. I
broke
was
the
like,
camel's back.
I don't want to deal with that
he
stress.
said, "Nah, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
guitar."
Right, exactly. Yeah, I want to play guitar. Boom.
Yeah, like
right
there's
into
a lot
that.
of people-
Perfect segue.
It's like, yeah. What do you want to do?
There's a lot of people that didn't let me live that down, man. Like not following through on that. But it's like you just don't know at that young. There's a lot of people. How many people you know like graduated from college like and didn't do it? And that hundreds like $100,000.
I was a licensed real estate agent for
We
2
both were.
years. Never sold an apartment.
I did it for much longer,
but at least you closed.
but still, like I mean,
I would
over
use
that
my
course-
license to go to different open houses for the free food, and like I was on survival mode.
Yeah.
It's like that's what that job becomes, man. It's like everyone's chasing that dream. It's like, yo, everyone one commission check doing real estate. If you let's say even if we had it, like, even the shitty split, like if you had like a shitty 35-65 split, like a 40-60 split, that's still a pretty decent. If
It's
that
a nice chunk,
that's a nice chunk still.
Yeah.
And then if you get
but
a
you
better
still got to
split,
get taxed.
yeah, and then you put your money aside. People don't know what to do, but like it's the allure of if I work at an office 9 to 5, I'm still getting taxed. I'm making extra hours, and then at the end of the week, I'm bringing home like $500 after tax, if that. You know, but if I do real estate, but I'm working all week, but I close one deal a week, you know, that's so much more. That's double,
Right.
triple.
Yeah.
That sometimes. So it's the allure of that. That's what lured us in, is what we were doing.
This
at the
$1
time.
million listing got me.
Nah,
I
the
thought,
allure of
I thought it
working
was
for
gonna be like
myself.
TV. I thought I was gonna wake up in the morning in the jacuzzi, just go through my little BlackBerry,
Yeah.
set up my appointments, you
Boom.
know, dress in a
Sales.
3-piece suit.
And I mean, I think
None of that
New
happened.
York, and we said it.
None of it. Absolutely nothing.
And I think we said it, man. New York needs to regulate the real estate market a bit better, man. It's a bit too willy-nilly, gung-ho kind of, man, out here, man. I'm sorry, man. Like I've worked for a couple agencies. I've worked in Bushwick, man. Like I ended my time doing real estate ended because of some of the things I saw in this neighborhood and
Yeah.
seeing the way things were happening, like up the block from me, down the block from me. Like I'm talking where we knew people, and these were shit units.
Yeah.
And pops them, I'm like, why do I know this address? And then I'm like, why is this $3,500? And it's like, you know, like I told him after that, I told you that was when I was like, I called it at that. I'm like, I'm done here. I was like, I'm done. I can't in good conscience do this anymore.
So, if people like, I know you said you scored a couple of films, but is that something that you want to keep doing? Are you setting up a shop?
I think honestly, anything that involves music, I absolutely would love to do. But I love creating music. I love writing music and expressing myself and like putting a little bit of me in whatever situation I get to encounter. And that sense of fulfillment and satisfaction after you're done completing a song, like you start to finish, have an idea, develop it, and then it's just a piece of history after you're done with it. Whether that means I'm writing for my own group, whether I'm writing for other artists or producing albums for them, or if I'm trying to arrange a live show for an artist, or even film scoring. That's what I love to do.
So, if anybody wants to get in contact with you,
Yes.
how would they do that?
You can email me. So email me at nhrosenthalmusic@gmail.com. And then we just talk
No
about
social
it.
media?
Social media, yep. So at NEAL_RO. I've changed it a few times. But so that's Instagram, and then I have my website, www.neilrosenthalmusic.com. And yeah, that's everything. And I have all my albums out on every single form of digital
Every streaming service
digital
available.
platforms. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, we're coming up to the close of the show, but we want to give you a live hand clap for joining us right now.
Well, thank you for coming on, having this quick conversation.
Thank you guys.
This was
for
a
having
really
me.
good conversation there. We touched on a couple things, went all over. That's what usually happens. Was we go a bit all over the place. There's it doesn't stay grounded on one thing or in one area. We'll go from here to there to there, and that's how it happens. That's how it goes with us.
I mean, we always bouncing around. That's nothing.
We're
new.
never grounded on one thing.
But while you set up whatever it is you're about to do in the back, we're gonna play a little clip. Just show people what you could do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Like that's the part where like the
That's
MC's
it.
up there and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to introduce our beautiful new newlyweds, our lovely new bride and groom. So in a little while, we're gonna have you guys put your hands together. Like that's usually like that's
It
what it
could
would
be
feel
that,
like.
or it could be something like The Price is Right. Right, come on down.
Yeah. Now that you weren't paying attention, you weren't here for that other part, but that's perfect. Like you're walking into like live band, like and like the band all has like on cream like linen suits and shit, like like it is. I tell you, like, and you walk in, like you see
They play the horns like this.
Yeah,
together
like they all
simultaneously.
just getting into it, man. Like it's real, bro. Like I'm telling you, son. Like give me the music, and I'll find you the scenes. Give me the music, I'll find you the scenes. I can't do it the other way.
So you might be a A&R for the label then, because that's exactly what we need for licensing opportunities.
Listen. I'm with it. You just gotta meet my quotes, B. You know what I'm saying?
You got to meet the label's quotes.
Nah, y'all gotta meet my quotes, man.
You're
I work.
fired.
You know what I'm saying? I'm, you know what I'm
We're
saying?
gonna fire your ass.
You don't want me. You know, to get my agents involved, my managers and shit, my peoples. You know what I'm saying?
Your agents.
Don't want these people getting involved. You don't think I got agents?
I'm gonna tell you what.
I got a music agent. I got a TV agent, and they all in my mind.
This guy's a schizo.
Fuck you, man.
So before we even close the show, we didn't get an update on your fantasy league.
Oh man, I'm 9-1, man. I am 9-1. Won again this week. Got 3 games left in the regular season. I actually miscalculated. I needed to win last week, and I needed my girlfriend's brother to lose for me to win the division. He won this week, so
You're still tied, but you're up.
no. I'm still up in the division, but I could still lose it potentially. So
How many weeks left?
3 weeks left. If I win this week, I lock up the division. It was I needed him to lose last week, but he didn't. This week that just passed. So if I win this week, it doesn't matter what happens. I win the division outright.
What about your brother?
He's still tied in his division, but no, he won this week. I think he took the lead or did. No, he's still tied because both him and the other guy Christian won, if I'm not mistaken. So double check real fast. ESPN is loaded.
While you're checking that, I think we need to both address this before we get off the air. If we're in a group chat, do not send messages at 4 a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna address that shit right now, man. Yeah, Lorenzo's still tied for first. He's 6-4. I'm 9-1.
Like I know that everybody be up late, different shit.
Nah, listen. When
But
I would be up
full-fledged
like that,
conversations
when
at
I'm
4
up
o'clock
like
in the
that,
morning.
I don't send shit out like that. And if I do, it's usually because I'm drunk and it was hilarious. And I'm not like it's usually a post. And it's like, so y'all see that in the morning, and I know I'm gonna forget to send this in the morning. So y'all see that when y'all wake up. We'll all laugh in the morning. But a full-fledged conversation coming through my goddamn phone at 5 in the
No, 4 It was 4:45.
4:45. Said right. No, he said it was like 4:43 or some shit or something.
4:43.
It's like something weird. It was a weird time. I didn't hear that one. But then I heard it go off.
That was the
It
one
closer
with,
to 5.
that was the one with Gucci.
Yeah. And then I heard it go off again. And then I heard it go off again. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I look and it's still going. And I saw what it said. And I'm like, I'm muting this shit. And
The most meaningless shit.
the way it was going off, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck just happened in the world that we need to pay this much attention
And that's the thing.
to?
It's like it almost feels like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Like that time slot is kind of reserved for emergencies.
In that time, bro. It's like my girl tells me, like, whenever my phone rings and I'm asleep, even if it's in the afternoon, like, she's like, it stirs you out of your sleep and you always jump up. And I think it's the shock of hearing your phone ring, because a lot of people don't call, so text now. And it's just that, and usually when you see who it is calling you too, it's like a lot of people call you. Just you calling me, we text most times.
Yeah.
Most people text me, and the only people who really call me are my parents, and my dad will always start, if he hears me, he could tell I was taking a nap or I see you, yo, yeah, everything's cool, man.
I just know that if some shit really goes down at 4:00 in the morning and I start getting messages, I'm gonna assume that it's bullshit. I'm gonna assume that it's
man,
group chat.
I mean, you know me, like if I'm sending you messages at 4 a.m., it's either I'm working on something, idea, or something happened. That's it. And I'll usually, if I do say, listen, I even say, listen, you don't need to respond to this right now. Hit me in the morning. If it is something that's not of importance, if it's important, I'll expect a response. If not, maybe, hey, hit me in the morning, nigga. But I had to send this because I will forget. And usually be like, hey, nigga, I am drunk, but I'll forget if I don't say this now. So I'll remember I said this.
Oh man, I mean, this has been another great episode, though.
Yeah, man. Just don't start group chats that early, guys. I love you all, man. That was crazy, and it's just at that time with everything
and
going
then it's
on in the
it's
world.
nothing. You're not even talking about anything.
Yeah,
So-
man. That was more a private conversation between you two, man. That was more, on your story. Somebody responds, not the whole group chat, man. That was upset. That was actually
Oh my
that was
God.
legitimately upsetting in the morning, man.
I'll be fucking upset myself.
That was legitimately upsetting at 5 a.m. Like I was just like, ding, bing, 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 bing. What are we doing?
It's like I'm in multiple group chats. We usually start 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'll start getting the messages.
I'll say around, I put it like this. It depends on that friend, like the work group. Because let's say like Falco, Louie, and Cousin Ant, the Rat Pack. My rap, like we call ourselves the Rat Pack. Those guys, they all work earlier. So sometimes if they're at work, or let's say they're in traffic and they're on their phone looking at something, or they got to take the kids to school, they're waiting for the wives to get ready, or they got to drop the wife off at work and sit in the car. Like I might send them posts or something, I'll see it that early. Like Falco will send something. Falco starts work early at like fucking 6:37 in the morning. So he'll send earlier posts because he'll take a break at like 9 o'clock in the morning and he'll send us some shit. But for us, that's early morning. But, then like we'll have like the other group chats like with us where most of us aren't up that early. So like we won't send anything before 11, 12, unless something funny or someone up at that time. And then most of our group chats are active mostly afternoon, evening.
What's the earliest you ever had to go to work?
When I worked Black Fridays at Toys R Us.
What was that? 6?
5. We had to be in at 5. We opened at 6.
When I worked
No,
at
we had to be in at. Yeah, was it 5 and we opened at 6, or 4 and we opened at 5? I can't remember. 1 year and then they made it earlier. So I believe the first time was 5 and we opened at 6, and then the next time they opened early and it was 4, and we had to be in at. We opened at 5. Like they've had some wild like it was wild like. It's just,
I used to ride my bike to Frito-Lay at 3 o'clock in the morning to have the truck on the street by 6, be at my first stop by 7. Like that was gruesome, bro.
yeah, man, like that. There's people that like work those schedules that are like crazy.
And-
But I
and-
mean, it's young people work those schedules, but not give themselves the time to rest they need. Older people, like adults that have those schedules, for like people that have to wake up early, man, they'll go to bed like if you got to be to work or you got to get up for work at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, they'll go to bed at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. because they know, I need that rest. Like I'm gonna be up all day.
Nothing sucks more than being sluggish at work.
Nah, I'll tell you what sucks the most at work. Having a hangover and trying to sober up on your feet. You ever, you work most jobs where you're at a desk, so having a hangover at a desk is different. I've had hangovers working at a desk. That's doable.
I
can
honestly,
make it do it.
I've worked more jobs not in front of a desk than I have desk jobs.
Yeah?
The desk jobs were the ones that lasted longer.
Uh,
The other things, like there was this one job that I had when I was working at Hinarte law firm. I had to go to people's houses and like jot down all the details of their pending case. And these people are people that have their legs split open, their fucking arm chopped off, all this shit. And you could smell that shit. So I had to wear a mask even before this pandemic just to go into these people's houses.
shit.
But that was it was disgusting, bro. It was disgusting. And that shit was, it took you everywhere.
Damn.
It took you everywhere, bro.
Yeah, I never worked anything like that, man.
So driving trucks, receptionist in a building, receptionist at a job, there's a lot of crap, bro. I've worked over 60 jobs.
Yeah, man. It's just I've worked not that many, man. Mostly predominantly in the same field. But that's always the worst feeling, man. For me, is the night after having to sober up on my feet, bro. Like
You still smell the alcohol coming from your pores.
I can't, but I can tell. I know if other people can. I've never gotten so bad to where I smell it coming out of my own pores.
But
But
when I
can-
wake up drunk still,
When
Like that shit.
I wake up still drunk, that's when I know. Like if I would the last time that happened to me was after Betty's birthday party in January this year. I woke up the morning after, still drunk, and I only slept like 2 hours. Here's the messed up part is I got home, before everyone. They all stayed out. Like I'm like, yo, I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta be in time. I'm gonna cut the night short. But we were having so much fun, and more people started showing up as the later it got. It's like we're still climbing up the fucking roller coaster. Like we haven't dropped yet. Like it's still the climb. Like I said, I wanted to be home in bed by 2. I didn't even end up leaving, getting in a cab till like 3:30.
that's the worst, bro.
And and even still, when I got home, I'm sitting up that night laughing, joking, cracking jokes with my dad. I didn't end up going to bed till like 5:36 in the morning, and I had to be up at like 10 in the morning, bro. It was the worst. I woke up literally still drunk, and I'm on the train, and then I start sobering up, and then the hangover hits me, bro. When I tell you I couldn't stand up, I literally could not stand up straight on my 2 feet, bro. I was hunched
Shit.
over, dying. It's the worst.
Well,
But
we
want to thank you all for tuning in
we're
today.
gonna wrap this up. You can come through.
You're good, brother. Not cutting up any shots, man. No problem.
Um,
Want to thank everyone for tuning in today, for coming out today.
We'll be
you
back.
guys obviously know where you were tuned into today. You were here at Good Morning Bushwick at 30 Days to Rock. Here
Got
from
us.
First Live Studios, 219 Central Avenue. You need any type of production for an event. You need any audio work done. You have an album you want to record, live music. You need anything done. You need any type of production capabilities. Go over to 30 Days to
First
Rock.
live.
First Live
Dot
We've been
us.
starting 30 Days to Rock this whole run. First Live us. Get all the information you need, all the contacts you need for all the information. You obviously know we get everything Bud & Roach related over at www.budandroach.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Bud and Roach.
And you already know why, baby, because we do the fucking, you heard?